Sactown Sports
Headlines.
It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review, with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics will host the Heat on Wednesday evening in Beantown. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome in to Cattles and Ramie.
Not the boring, generic milquetoast stuff coming from the network in Connecticut.
I describe him as the best, obviously.
Cattles.
He throws it out there, speaks his mind, that's cool.
And Ramie. He's supposed to make people laugh. He's just an expert at it.
Cattles and Ramie. Live and local in the afternoon.
Sactown Sports.
Yeah. Happy Monday to everybody. Thanks for joining us as always. It is much appreciated. Cattles and Ramie. No Ramie. Chris Watkins in for Ramie today. And tomorrow, I believe, it'll be myself and JJ. So we continue the rotation until Ramie shows
I'm
back
taking
up.
Ramie tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's me and JJ in the afternoon.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
I wasn't sure. The schedule's all over the place.
Well, you know what it is. We're all awaiting Ramie's return from
Yes,
Vegas. So
yes.
we're just all sitting back and letting the king make these decisions. And
right.
once Ramie shows back up in the building tomorrow, then we'll try to figure out the rest.
Yes. Me and Verlaub were talking, and wouldn't it be great if Ramie just showed up with like bald haircut, like black eye, and just don't ask. Just don't ask.
Tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened to you?
Yeah.
Vegas
happened.
Oh, all right.
He's a first timer, so we'll see how
he is a first timer. You never know how that's going to hit.
Yeah, you don't. You never know how people are going to act in Vegas until they're there.
Vegas hits different, man. Vegas.
Some people are not built for Vegas.
I tried to tell him that before he left. So we'll see. We'll see. How he
excited for that return. Check it out.
I think we all are. We got a lot to get to today. Obviously, lots going on in the NBA. We've got the Kings, some Sasha Vezenkov news happening over the weekend, but Chris and I wanted to start with the story of the weekend, and that's Ja Morant. And Chris, Ja Morant's self-destructive behavior continues. And, Tim McMahon wrote this for ESPN.com. The Grizzlies suspended Morant from all team activities after a video showing the star guard holding a gun began circulating on social media Saturday night. This is a separate video of Ja holding a gun than the prior video of Ja holding a gun.
Right.
On Saturday, during an Instagram live session on Morant's friend Devontae Pack's account, the All-Star flashed a handgun while driving and singing along with a rap song. The video has since been deleted. Now, here's what's really self-destructive about this. You go back to what Ja said just a couple of weeks ago when his team was throttled by the Lakers. They were eliminated. They lost by 40 points that night. And Ja in the postgame said, quote, "I've just got to be better with my decision-making. That's pretty much it. Off-the-court issues affected us as an organization pretty much. Just need more discipline." That is literally like 2-3 weeks ago, man. Right. This guy's telling us that, hey, I got to have better decision-making. I can't be a distraction. This really messed up the organization.
Right.
2-3 weeks later, here he is driving along his buddy in a car with a gun on social media. And I think that, the question, Chris, that has to be asked is, what should the NBA do? And I ask you, along with the other people that are involved with our community, which is everybody watching and listening, 916-339-1140 is that text line. Hit it up. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Phone lines are open for you. And as always, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Chris, what do you think would be a reasonable punishment from the NBA?
It's tough because, like, I don't – he didn't get the memo. Like, we've already been through this. We just went through this. So clearly, I don't think we're at a point where the NBA punishing Ja Morant is going to get through to him. And also with this coming at the end of the regular season or the end of the season, we're going to forget about this in 3-4 months anyway. I feel like in order for it to really feel like a punishment, he's got to miss significant time. And I'm talking like 15, 20 games. Like we know going into next year, they're going to have that minimum requirement for, I think, 65 games in order to qualify for all the awards. I would try and put it so that it's almost impossible for him to get that. He needs to really feel
that's a good point.
There's some level of punishment for what he's doing, because forget the fact, like, this is the second time that they just went through this. They need to make Adam Silver has to put his foot down and let Ja Morant know that you're not going to make this league look a fool.
The self-destructive behavior is really concerning, because not just of how it affected the basketball world that he lives in and affected the organization that he plays for, but also when you look at the reputation and how he absolutely damaged his rep,
right?
Within the game. And on top of that, Chris, what people forget is he likely cost himself like $40 million,
right?
Because he's not on an all-NBA team, and some would argue he's not on that all-NBA team because of what happened,
right?
And what led to his suspension. So even though he lost tens of millions of dollars, even though he lost a reputation, even though he really created chaos for his team, and that resulted, you could argue, in that, first round loss to the Lakers,
right?
That hasn't landed yet with him.
Right.
He still doesn't get it. I think it's, at least worth the argument that you could give him a 50-game suspension.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's at least on the table. Is it what he gets? I don't know. I wouldn't be upset with half the season, 40 games,
right?
40, I think you have to do something. I agree with you. You have to do something that is significant.
Yes, it's got to get through.
10 games, no. 15, no. 20, no. I mean, if it's anything less than 25, I'd be very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very surprised. And part of it is, you kind of just mentioned this, the NBA sat down with him. Adam Silver sat down with Ja, and Ja told them everything that he wanted them to hear. Like, and I'm sure he said to the league, I'm going to get straight here. I'm going to figure this out. I apologize, blah, blah. And then literally a couple of weeks after this guy's season is over, he spits in the NBA's face.
Yeah.
Here was Chris Mannix earlier today on the Dan Patrick Show talking about Ja and the NBA. Do we have Chris Mannix? There he is.
I can tell you from talking to people in and around the league that there is a palpable frustration with Ja Morant right now. I mean, it's likely that the NBA, Dan, believes they did Ja Morant a favor last time around. They showed compassion for Ja Morant last time around. He said he was going through anxiety issues, depression issues, mental health issues. He went to the league office and he apologized face-to-face to Adam Silver. And then less than 2 months later, he does the exact same thing. I would expect, Dan, while this will not be a swift process because there's no reason to move quickly on it, this will be a severe punishment. I think the NBA felt like, they showed it was like the carrot last time that they gave Ja Morant. Now I think the NBA is going to show him the stick. There's just everybody I've talked to, there's been a lot of frustration with how this whole thing played out, how the league probably feels like they got played by Ja Morant to a degree. I would expect this to be a significant suspension going into next season.
He played the NBA.
Yep.
He spit in their face. And, this whole, whatever it was, 7-day, 10-day stay in a rehab was a joke. Rehabs aren't 10 days or 7 days.
No.
If you want to thoroughly work on yourself and take an intensive rehab program, that's a different world than what Ja did. He literally walked into a rehab for a few days, said, I'm cured. I know what to do now. I'm going to fix all of this, and then goes right back to what he was doing a couple of months beforehand. And the NBA, Chris, they have a reputation, man. Like,
exactly.
They have to make sure their reputation is intact. They can't allow somebody to continue to do what Ja's been doing.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is the NBA has done a great job. Like, this is the NFL is littered with all of these kind of cases of guys who, are involved in criminal cases and just you're always hearing stories about NFL guys. The NBA keeps a very clean reputation, especially amongst its stars. LeBron James has kind of really ushered in this era of like real professionalism when it comes to the NBA and their stars. And you just haven't seen anything like this really in 20, 30 years. It's been the Gilbert Arenas thing is really the closest thing that the NBA has had to this kind of issue. And I don't know, the NBA just, they don't want these problems because this is, they want their guys, they want their stars to be as marketable as possible. This is Ja Morant, who's got a shoe deal with Nike, right. A Powerade, Gatorade guy as well. They want their stars to be as marketable and profitable as possible. And this is not going to fly with the NBA, whose bottom, like that is all they care about is their stars being as marketable as possible. And this, they cannot continue to back this, and it's eventually going to continue to leak into Ja Morant's pockets, and maybe that's what will eventually get to him.
And it'll set a precedent. Like if the NBA doesn't react harshly to this and doesn't slam the hammer down on Ja Morant, you're opening the door for other people to act a fool, to do silly things, to do irresponsible things, to say the least.
Right.
And, if the slap on the wrist didn't work, you slapped him on the wrist the first time. Slap on the wrist didn't work. Now you got to drop the hammer, because if you fail to drop the hammer, everybody else is going to pop up and say, wait a minute. If they get in trouble off the floor, they're going to point to Ja Morant and say, what happened? You let Ja do this, and you never really rectified the situation. So I think they got to drop the hammer. I'm telling you, I would not be surprised, and I wouldn't even argue if he gets 50 games. I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine with it if he got 50.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this Ja Morant situation? What do you think the NBA should do? What's a reasonable punishment? 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Don't forget, swing by YouTube, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Give us that thumbs up. It is always much appreciated. We'll get to your thoughts on Ja and what the NBA should do. Also, are the Kings close to adding a major piece for next season? We'll have the latest in 90 seconds.
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
I feel like we grew a lot during this playoff series with our defense, and if we can sustain that during the year, that's going to help us a lot.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Quick Quack Car Wash is excited to announce Ceramic Duck, the stronger, shinier, luckier car wash experience that can only be found at Quick Quack. Their new Ceramic Duck car wash provides unparalleled protection from dirt, grime, rain, and UV rays while giving your car a noticeably deeper shine and smoother finish. With consistent use, you'll build a shine that will have you looking spectacular for days. Try the premium wash at 50% off by texting DUCK to 41284. So come on, experience Ceramic Duck today. You and your car will be glad you did.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and more.
This is Cattles and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
I don't know if this is because of Chris Watkins or what, but we got a text, 916-339-1140. Been waiting all day for this show.
Oh, man. Hope we deliver.
Is that a Chris Watkins fan?
Gotta be.
Very excited Chris Watkins is here.
You never realize how many people listen to the show until you miss one. And like 100 people hit my phone and are like, are you okay? Like, where are you? I'm like, I just had a day off. Like, sorry. Didn't realize I had to publicly announce when and where I'll be. So
it's called a long weekend.
Right.
Just took a long weekend.
Sorry.
No concern.
No concern at all. Good. Yeah. Just, little break. Everybody needs a little bit of a break.
You haven't said more true words until right there during this show so far. We were talking about Ja Morant last segment. That's where we started the show today. And you all know what happened over the weekend, unless you've been living under a rock. Again, Ja going to social media, brandishing a gun on video. And it sounds like the NBA is going to really drop the hammer on John. Both Chris and I believe that should be what they do. Some of the reaction before we get to the Kings and the latest on them possibly adding a major piece. Cole G seems like he is mocking the NBA. I would not be surprised if he got 40 to 50 games. Yeah. I mean, he thumbed his nose to Adam Silver.
Right.
When you sit down with the commissioner and you tell him and you say what Ja said reportedly, and you talk about mental health and depression.
Right.
And now that stuff just looks like excuses.
Yes.
It looks like, which is awful because people that are truly going through depression, people that truly have mental health issues going on in their lives, you can't use those as, oh, excuse me, and kind of a shield for yourself, which is what it sounds like Ja did when he sat down with Adam Silver.
Right.
And then 2 months later, he's doing what he was doing. And it's like, what's up?
That's my thing is like, it's literally the same exact thing he's getting. Like, not like I'm saying, hey, bro, like get some variance in your gun habits. But I'm just like the fact that he's getting in trouble for quite literally doing the same exact stupid thing that he did before. Something that is so incredibly avoidable. Like it's just, he deserves whatever he gets, honestly, at this point.
Jack G in the YouTube chat, I'd say 20 games unpaid is fitting. That's a quarter of the season.
Sure.
Beeman, just send Ja off on another excursion to practice breathing techniques. That was ridiculous when they first announced that, and it looks even more ridiculous now.
Yeah,
the whole rehab thing for like a week. It really works. At the time, this is not, this isn't like,
this is not hindsight. No.
Well, at the time, I remember Ramie and I were talking about this, and it was like, wait, the dude went to rehab for like a week? Like that screamed to me of like, look, I'm trying to change, but not really. I'm still going to do what I do. I'm an NBA superstar, and somebody has to wake him up because obviously the people surrounding him aren't doing it.
No, absolutely not.
So we'll keep an eye on Ja. We'll continue to get your reaction as well on the text line, phone line, and YouTube chat. But let's jump to the Kings. Mark Stein over the weekend, Watkins, reported that the Sasha Vezenkov Kings relationship is trending toward inevitable. So Stein makes it sound like it's almost a fait accompli that you'll have Sasha Vezenkov in a Kings uniform next season. Let's go back to last week when Coach Brown was in Greece watching Vezenkov. Here's what he had to say about the player's fit.
The way that they're guarding them, it makes it tough, but when you guard somebody like that, you like that person on the floor because it creates a lot of space for everybody else. The way we play, he fits in really good. He shoots the three ball. He's got size. He's got toughness. He rebounds. And all those things are excited with the way that we play the game of basketball. So, like I said, we'll see how we'll let him finish out his season, and then we'll make decisions from there.
Here was more from the coach.
I tell you what, the way he shoots the ball, we like to get up a lot of threes. We space the floor, in my opinion, really, really well. We play extremely fast, and so I think he can be a really effective player in the NBA at a high level, especially with his toughness. He's not afraid at all, and I love that about him.
Cattles and Ramie here, Sactown Sports. Ramie out, still in Vegas. Watkins filling in for Ramie today. Chris, I haven't talked to you about Vezenkov that much. A couple of words off the air, but nothing on the air. What does he do? If this is all but inevitable, how does he help?
I mean, he brings some size, first off. I mean, he's a legit 6'8", 6'7" to 6'9". They haven't gotten his official measurements or anything yet, but he seems to have some real length. He provides a bigger body too. He's definitely kind of more of a four body, more like a Trey Lyles than a Harrison Barnes. Yeah. So that's good. That it's always nice to have those stretch fours, guys who can kind of play between the 3 and the 4. And he brings shooting, elite, I wouldn't go elite shot making, but he's got the ability to knock down shots.
Yeah.
It seems to be at an NBA professional level. And he brings that to the NBA right now. Everything else, in my opinion, is still left to be undetermined, left to be seen. His defense, to me, is a big question, just his overall, movement and lateral movement, especially. His rebounding ability is good for Europe, but nothing that really, pops out. And if he's going to play the 4, you'd like to see him, kind of be a rebounder. But in terms of the positive of what he brings, he is a guy who can come in right now and shoot the ball,
at
a 38% clip from 3-point right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Kings offense, it was a juggernaut, obviously, this past season. And I think Vezenkov's addition would make that offense stronger.
Right.
He's an offensive guy first and foremost.
Yes.
And I know Coach Brown trying to sell us on his physicality and all of that.
Yeah, not sold yet.
I'm not going to jump on that. I would not go too far with that side of his game.
Yeah.
What he does right away, I agree, is he helps you offensively. He can stretch the floor. He's got 3-point range for days. He's a guy who shoots really well from the corners.
Yeah.
So you can see him catch and shoot, work off of Domas and work off of De'Aaron.
Yeah.
So he's somebody who's going to make shots. He cuts without the basketball well, which is a great fit with Domas. The off-ball movement. He's got good vision. So he's also somebody that will move. He'll keep the ball moving.
Right.
He's not going to be, Captain ISO.
Yes,
put
no
a
isolations.
Cape on.
No, hopefully not.
So offensively, he will help you. The rebounding, we'll see. 7 rebounds a game, but it's the Euro League, as you mentioned. And, that there is the stereotypical kind of Euro League, not as physical as the NBA game. And 7 rebounds in the Euro League does not necessarily, Chris, translate to 7 rebounds in the NBA.
Absolutely not. Right. Like, not only the strength and physicality, but also just like the level of athleticism. They don't have Anthony Davises just walking around in Europe and stuff like that. So who he will be able to guard, to me, is the biggest question, because right now it feels a lot like, to me, he's just a big 2 guard. And not that that's not helpful, but I think what we saw from the Kings, especially in the playoffs, is they need bigs who can have the ability to play defense, who can play physically, and who can rebound. And those are just all really big questions still. And it's great that he brings shooting. You can always use more shooters on the floor, but we're also talking about a team that had the historically best offensive rating in NBA history. Like, I don't know if they necessarily need more offense. It would be nicer if he could provide some defensive stuff, but it's going to be a good addition. It's just, I don't know if it's necessarily a piece that the Kings need right now.
It's interesting. You could look at this as almost a luxury item when you go shopping instead of a necessity. And look, I'm fine with it. I've been saying it. I think he's a great fit offensively alongside Domas. We'll get into later whether or not we see him starting or coming off the bench, what his perfect role would be with this team. But if they do plan on playing him at the 4, this gives you quality depth in the front court. Now, he's, again, not your prototypical banger as the 4. He's not going to go down there and knock bodies to the floor and make his mark that way.
Right.
But he does give you depth. He does give you quality coming off that bench if that's what they decide to do.
Right.
It'll be interesting how he fits along with Keegan and Domas. If he starts at the 4, we have to see how all of these pieces come together, but it does give you at least some quality depth. And this guy should be a good NBA player. I mean, I know Coach Brown came out and said last week that he could see him playing at a high level in the NBA. Again, I don't know if that's Coach Brown trying to sell us a little too hard, but he does look like he's an NBA guy.
Yeah. Mike Brown's doing Mike Brown could be a college basketball coach tomorrow, because he's been doing an incredible recruiting job. The whole Kings organization has done way too much in trying to get Sasha over here. So big credit to them. But it's it's going to be interesting to see how he fits as a piece here, because again, like I feel like I keep thinking about the playoffs and how the Kings performed in the playoffs, and I keep thinking, and I'm curious to your thought, how do you think Sasha would fit if he would have been in that playoff series that we just saw? I don't know if he necessarily, I mean, for sure as a shot maker, I know he helps, but how big of an impact would he have made in a series like what we just saw?
It's a fascinating question. Maybe he would have given you more shooting, right? Because yes, you shot well during the year, but as we know in that series, it wasn't very good.
It wasn't at all.
He would give you probably options other than the DHO from from the three, which possibly, might be able to vary the playbook a little bit for you offensively. Right. And I also wonder, would you even entertain the idea of playing him at small ball 5 in that series? Because you played Lyle small ball 5, and maybe you'd get, a little bit more offensive punch and a little bit more offensive versatility.
And that's where the rebounding and physicality comes to play, where it's like if he does have if the rebounding translates, if the physicality, if he's able to hold up his own, to me, that's a whole nother conversation. If he's able to do that, I think this is a phenomenal fit, and they have a real possible piece here, but that can be really beneficial. But at the moment, with how if he's just a shooter, I just don't know how big of an impact he can have on this team.
Mark Stein reporting. Sasha Vezenkov trending towards inevitable as far as joining the Kings. Your thoughts on that? 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. We also will continue to take your reaction on the Ja Morant situation. What do you think a reasonable punishment would be from the NBA? Ramie out today, Watkins in. Aside from all of your reaction, yesterday, NBA fans witnessed history. We'll talk about that next.
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Thinking that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're going to warm up for the afternoon under mostly sunny skies and a light southwest breeze. Time for highs in the upper 80s and overnight lows in the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to all the newest technology and an industry-leading warranty. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531. 808-2531.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Family-owned Clark & Rush, celebrating 60 years of serving Sacramento. It's time to convert your gas water heater and furnace to electric. Just turn to the experts at Clark & Rush and Carrier. We electrify more homes than any other contractor in Sacramento. Plus, we'll help you get up to $6,500 in utility rebates. We'll even do the paperwork. Call or visit clark-rush.com.
Smart energy savings is what we do. Clark & Rush.
Call 916-245-2829.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review, with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics will host the Heat on Wednesday evening in Beantown. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Now back to Cattles and Ramie with Chris Watkins.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
Text line, eligibility for awards next year, LOL. Dude will be lucky to play 20 games, talking about Ja Morant. Chris brought up a good point, I thought. You know, with the league now shifting to you have to play 65 games to win anything.
Yeah.
Individually. You do wonder how much that plays a role. And if you say, all right, you're going to be donezo for 30 games, then you're taken out of that.
That affects your future
list.
That's not just a now thing. That's like, like you're taking $15 million off your table.
I'm all for dropping the hammer. We were also talking about Sasha Vezenkov and Mark Stein reporting over the weekend that Vezenkov's marriage with the Kings is trending toward inevitable. And TCG says Monk and Vez off the bench will be nice next year. I do think that gives you a lot of offensive punch.
Yeah.
Now, defensively, not much
punch. A lot.
You might have some
Maybe
trouble.
even more than last year.
Yeah, and Chris asked the question, would Vezenkov's presence have changed what happened against the Warriors? How would that have changed things? And Dean said Sasha would have hit all those threes HB and Herter missed.
All of them.
So there you go.
All of them.
Just replace all the misses with all the makes by Sasha Vezenkov.
Right. We're winning a championship at that rate.
Scooter 916, I feel like if it was him instead of HB, they might have had more offense. Not a bash against HB.
Right.
Just feel like he would have looked for a shot more. He appears like a shooter.
Yeah.
He is definitely a shooter. And, HB, we talked about that during that series. I don't want to relive too much of the past because it hurts. But, we talked about it at the time. HB just was not aggressive. He wasn't aggressive enough. And that's been his calling card. And I know some people around here have tried to defend HB. He's not the most aggressive guy. You'll see it in spurts.
Yes.
And you'll see it in stretches during the season where, we saw it it was either January or February when he shot like 50% from three. And he knew he was on one. And he was super aggressive with his shot attempts.
Yeah.
But then he kind of just falls back to like, all right, I'll just chill here in the corner and I'm not going to. He should have been much more aggressive against the Warriors. He should have attacked a whole lot more.
That's how I feel about HB's stint in general. It was always just wanting more. It was always like, dude, like I see, like you're saying, I see the stretches, I see your capabilities, I see your abilities, and the fact that you're kind of able to do a little bit of everything, but much too often it was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. Speaking of more, Cattles and Ramie, no Ramie today. He's still in Vegas. Chris Watkins filling in. Speaking of, asking for more, I don't know if you could get any more from Jayson Tatum than the Celtics got yesterday. Last week I said this. before Game 6, if you're Philly, you do not want to go back to Boston. You do not want to be looking at a Game 7 against the Celtics in Boston. That is a nightmare scenario
for anybody.
You have a chance to put the nail in the coffin. Do it now when you have that chance. And they didn't. They blew Game 6. And then yesterday, that second half was a just disaster for them. Tatum, though, 51 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Here's his head coach, Joe Mazzulla.
A guy that doesn't get too high or too low, takes the game the way it comes, and he has ultimate trust in himself and in his teammates. And, one of the biggest things I always said is people talk about him, the player, but the person who he is a reflection of how he plays. And so he's very even keeled. He has a trust and a loyalty and a character about him. And, when you play like that and live like that, I think it works out for you. And so you see it in his game, and I'm not surprised by it at all. And, he'll have the humility to just keep going, which I think is key.
A lot of the focus was on the 51 points because it's an all-time NBA record into Game 7. He beat Steph's 50 in Game 7 against the Kings a few weeks ago with scoring 51. There's a lot more to the game than scoring, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes because I thought Tatum showed you a lot of different things that he can do. But here was Tatum on his Game 7.
I mean, that's the word, is he's learned how to problem solve, so he can recognize
that would be Joe
matchups,
Mazzulla.
coverages. He can anticipate the
That
next
would be
coverage.
Joe Mazzulla. I was hoping for Tatum. Do we have Jayson Tatum on that Game 7 performance?
Come on now, producer, you put.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I had it in there.
Trying to hear from my boy JT.
Well, look, Game 6, right? That fourth quarter by Tatum, when JT started making those threes, when he scored 16 points in the fourth quarter, that I feel is what got him going for yesterday's game.
Yeah.
One bled into the other, right? His strong finish of Game 6 gave him the confidence to do what he did in Game 7 yesterday. Right. Here was JT after the win.
I think, coming off last game, obviously finished strong, but not starting off, the way I wanted. And especially with our season being on the line last game, I was just excited to we had another opportunity today as a team and, for myself just to kind of bounce back. And, I was relieved. I was happy about that, just to get another, chance because, our season could have been over, Game 6. And, just being in another Game 7, being able to come back home in front of our fans, I was really excited just for the moment to come out here and play today.
Chris, what he did was he cooked Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And I got the stats here from NBA Central's Twitter. When Joel Embiid guarded Tatum, right? When Embiid guarded Tatum yesterday, Tatum scored 24 of his 51.
Yeah.
He was 8 of 10 from the field. He was 4 of 4 from 3, and he was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. When the 76ers switched Joel on Tatum, he ate.
Yes.
And he attacked. ESPN Stats and Info, Tatum's the first player with 50-plus points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in a series-clinching win, and he's only 25 years old. Michael Pina tweeted on Tatum today, since he entered the NBA, no player, this is kind of bonkers, since he entered the NBA, no player has scored more points in the playoffs than Tatum. So I thought it's more than scoring, though. 0 turnovers.
That's,
his decision-making, his rebounding, and his defense.
Yeah.
I mean, there were numerous times where he switched on Harden. He switched on Tyrese Maxey, and he shut those guys down.
Yep.
And he would have to switch on Embiid every once in a while.
Yeah, he would have to double Embiid.
He showed his ability to play defense 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And that's why, Chris, when we get into these conversations about guards and wings and who are the best players in the league, I always go wing. If you have a top-notch wing, that positional versatility is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've always felt the same way. Small forward, if you're a guy who can shoot, you can dribble, you can pass, you can play defense, you provide length, that's a lot more valuable. You're able to do more things out there on the basketball court, and I think especially, like in the past 15, 20 years, we've seen, the LeBrons, the Kawhis, the Kevin Durant's of the world been able to kind of take over, with the exception of obviously Steph Curry. But those guys are always going to be more valuable, and Jayson Tatum is the next one up. And at the fact that he's 25, like him and De'Aaron were drafted the same exact year.
Yeah.
And to look at how those two's careers look completely, like the fact that Jayson Tatum has accomplished what he has in his short career so far is just absolutely incredible. You mentioned the 50 points, no turnovers, first player in NBA history to ever do that. like for him to respond in that game 6 when his team's season is on the line, you need your superstar to step up in that moment. He absolutely did. Game 7 did what we just saw Steph Curry did. They didn't need him as much as they needed Steph Curry, but for him to still show up the way he did, that's generational type stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing that you see as the, that's a benchmark to clear in an early superstar's rise.
And a special shout out, by the way, to the old wise man, Al Horford, who defended his butt off against Embiid.
Yeah.
Embiid does not like playing against Al Horford.
Yeah.
And Horford's had his number.
Smart.
Yeah, Horford's had his number for a long time. He knows how to defend Joel better than anybody else in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he really locked him down the last couple of games in that series. So shout out to Horford.
Shout out Joe Mazzulla, who also made the adjustment of putting Rob Williams in the starting lineup instead of Derek White. Their smaller lineup was getting exposed by Embiid and Harden just running the pick and roll to death with him going to Rob Williams and kind of playing Rob on PJ Tucker. So he's able to kind of play that free safety role. It was huge in shutting down Embiid and Harden. Frankly, I know we're going to talk about James Harden later, but the fact that he just did not show any interest in attacking the basket and making any sort of contested layup, to me, that was the glaring thing that I saw in that game and a huge reason why Philly couldn't get it done.
All right, a mysterious report surfaced yesterday. What did that report say? And we'll give you our thoughts on it next.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports is Sacramento's new home for the San Francisco 49ers.
It feels awesome. We deserve this. Let's go, Niners!
Purdy.
Purdy going to throw, and it is Kittle in the back of the end zone.
Samuel.
Debo 10. Debo. Touchdown!
And McCaffrey.
Touchdown! CMC!
They all live here on Sactown Sports.
Your official home for 49ers football.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
Are you ready to finance your first home or your next move? Well, let Safe Credit Union's local mortgage team help you get pre-approved before you start looking for that perfect home. Jason Ross here, and now through June 30th, get a
Can't wait.
He'll be on with Watkins
He
tomorrow,
will.
by the way.
Yeah. Little early rise for Ramie. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how that affects him.
Yeah, so you've got Ramie and Watkins tomorrow. Myself and Watkins today, and then tomorrow I'll be with JJ here in the afternoon. At least that is the plan. So a couple of things, a couple reactions from our last few segments here. First, talking about Jayson Tatum. Riesling73 says, since he's joined the NBA, no one has scored more playoff points than Tatum. Eye emojis. Don't gloss over that. That is huge. He could be the best player in the world. The points thing, that's also opportunity, right? I said this during the season with De'Aaron Fox and the clutch points. Not to take it away from Fox. You still have to play in the clutch. And, I looked more, though, with Fox at his shooting numbers in the clutch than his total points, because the more clutch opportunities you have, the more clutch points that you can score. So, when you look at some numbers, like Tatum's played a lot of playoff games since he was drafted.
Right.
A lot. And the first few years, it wasn't because of Tatum, So, but yeah, it's still pretty remarkable when you hear that Tatum leads the league in most playoff points since he's been in the league. It's kind of crazy.
No, it's nuts. I mean, again, like the guy's 25. That's his years 20 through 25 age. And the fact that he's doing that, and like you say, it is opportunity. He's made it pretty far in just about all of those playoffs.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's getting it done at such a young age, it's good. It's just a good sign for when he's actually hitting his prime. He'll have already gone through all of these kind of things, and it's going to prepare him even more and make him even more dangerous when he's 30.
Yes. And Jaylen Brown, by the way, is 7th on the list. So you have Tatum first and you have Brown 7th on that list. Speaking of, points, and I was just mentioning De'Aaron Fox in the clutch. Most clutch points in the playoffs. StatMuse just tweeted this out. Jimmy Butler is first with 28 points in the clutch. Tatum second with 26. Steph Curry and Marcus Smart, of all people. Marcus Smart with 23 points in the clutch. And then De'Aaron Fox is sitting there at 20.
Even still.
Exactly. That's the point, right?
Right. We're
those
2
other
rounds
guys, those other guys had a full round more
Right.
to play than Fox did.
Right.
And then you also think about Fox, who had the injury to his finger. He was not the same guy in games 5 through 7, and he didn't score a ton or as much as he usually does in clutch time. In game 7, at that point, was a blowout, right?
Right.
So given the opportunity that Fox has had versus those other guys, that says an awful lot about De'Aaron Fox's
Pretty crazy.
postseason.
Right.
It's a great job by him.
Yeah, they leaned on him heavy. I'm curious, what do you think about the Marcus Smart factor of that? Because Marcus has been a guy who, Kings fans have kind of wondered if he would be a good fit here. And that's kind of the Marcus Smart thing is he tends to somehow find the ball in his hands in
Winning
these kind of
plays,
moments.
quote unquote, right?
Exactly. He makes them allegedly.
He'll drive you nuts. But he does come up with some big plays and some big buckets. But he also has some pretty big turnovers that people don't pay attention to. And he also will take some shots that he shouldn't take in games and moments.
Right.
So it all kind of balances it out with Marcus.
Yeah.
It does. And then, of course, get ready
And
for
then
the
you
flops.
get the defense, though, too.
Yes.
He makes as many huge offensive plays as he makes. He makes twice as many huge defensive plays where he's diving on the floor and causing turnovers. I'm a big Marcus Smart guy. I don't know how the fit would be here, but I think he's the kind of guy that the Kings need, just a dirty work kind of guy who can also maybe, stepping up in big moments like that is a good quality to have for a role player like that.
I've said if the Celtics don't make the finals, if they're unable to get past Miami and they want to shake up some of the core, I think Marcus is the guy that's most likely on the table. You're not trading Tatum. You're not trading Brown.
Right.
Rob Williams with his knee injuries, he's not valuable enough. Horford's 36, just had a 2-year extension. He's going to retire a Celtic, I believe. So really, when you look at it, Grant Williams didn't have a great year.
He's a free agent.
You look at the guy with the most value, it's Marcus, I think, that you want to trade because you're not trading Tatum and Brown.
Exactly.
So the guys that you're willing to trade, Marcus is at the top of the list. And if I were the Kings, I would place a phone call and see, but again, that's the premise is if the Celtics fail to get to the finals.
Exactly.
So we'll see how all that shakes out.
Right.
Speaking of the Celtics and the 76ers, this was a weird thing that happened yesterday. About 2 hours before Game 7, Chris, there was a strange leak.
Yeah.
And it was a leak to Adrian Wojnarowski. And here's Woj's tweet. An interesting dynamic approaching Game 7. NBA's officiating game report shared with teams from Game 6 revealed a significant disparity 13 officiating errors against the 76ers to 4 against Boston. Those can include calls and non-calls. Like 2 hours before a Game 7, this leaking was really strange.
Very strange.
And first, it felt to me that the 76ers were making excuses for Game 6.
Right.
But then it was also like, are NBA fans like, should we be set up for a terrible officiating game yesterday, Game 7, where like you'd see calls that went against the Celtics, but the argument would be, oh, well, don't forget about Game 6. It was kind of putting it in the water before the game happened.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't matter because the second half, the Celtics ran away with it.
Right.
But there was an early stretch in the second quarter where Scott Foster became the show.
Yes.
That was fascinating, especially when Joel Embiid was out. Joel Embiid's out, and then all of a sudden they really did give the 76ers 3 extra possessions they shouldn't have given them. But thankfully, the officiating didn't play a role in yesterday's game. It was what it was. Tatum went off. What happened. But it was a really weird report.
Where does that report come from?
It has to come from Philly,
because that's such a weird thing for no one's thinking about games. This is something that happened 2 days before. Like you said, like we're getting ready for this Game 7.
It has to come from Philly. It's the only thing that makes sense. The NBA is not leaking that because it makes the NBA look awful.
Exactly.
The Celtics aren't leaking it because it looks like oh, we were lucky to win that game and blah blah blah. That has to come from Philly's side. My theory, my conspiracy theory is Doc Rivers. Because Doc is the first guy to argue and complain about calls.
Right.
And he's always been that way. He never stops. Him and Nick Nurse are the two most insufferable coaches. Even when Doc was in Boston, it drive me nuts. He never stops.
Right.
And that kind of read to me like an excuse. Like, oh, hey, if we lose this series, man, it isn't because we lost a 3-2 lead. It's because we got jobbed in Game 6.
It's very on brand, too, like especially with James Harden as well. Like James is a guy who's constantly, especially in the playoffs, complaining about how he's officiated differently in the playoffs than in the regular season. And it's just it's not I just don't like that conversation because, again, like these are I know Philly was the home team in Game 6, but it's kind of almost baked into these playoff games that you're going to have to play through the officials. Like the officials are a part of the game as well. And, it's not always going to be even. I don't know. It was really weird drop 2 hours before the game. And I just don't understand why we needed to hear about it.
You could say that it was to put pressure on the officiating crew yesterday to make some calls for Philly. You could also put that out there and say,
sure.
Because now everybody's watching and saying,
thinking
oh,
about it.
Celtics got the whistle, in Game 6.
Sure.
So maybe that puts a little bit of pressure on them to swallow the whistle if the Celtics, instead of giving the Celtics a call. And maybe it would help impact their thoughts about some 76ers calls, maybe. But who's to know? It was really weird 2 hours before a Game 7. And I have to imagine the NBA was not thrilled with that leak coming out right before their only game yesterday on network television. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. We roll along. Coming up, is the Warriors dynasty over?
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Number one, I love dog agility. I just do. I love the
You record that?
You record that? Well, because they're never on normal time. So if I'm bored and I'm, outside,
just go down the rabbit hole.
I just throw on, oh, hey, look, I have 5 dog agilities saved up.
Here are the corgis.
Yeah.
Dude, dog agility.
Odd thing to record.
Well, that's an opinion.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, AutoZone is here to help.
Get in the zone, Autos. What if I need a new one?
We have the right batteries right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone. And what if I don't know how to connect it?
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out out the huge inventory online at FolsomLake4.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLake4.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Hey, it's Trudy over at Bell Brothers, the No Surprise Guys, and we're looking to hire 15 call center reps right now for both long-term positions and seasonal workers. Our starting pay is great, more than you'd expect, with paid training and full benefits that kick in after just 90 days. Health insurance, dental, and vision. Are you getting benefits where you work now? We also guarantee 40 hours a week, so you never have to worry about unexpected small paychecks because you couldn't get the hours. We also offer performance bonuses and plenty of room for growth opportunities in the company. For seasonal workers, we offer the same great pay and paid training, plus flexible hours to fit your schedule. Show up at the Bell Brothers office on Norton Road in Sacramento this Saturday morning at 8 a.m. for an interview. You can find the address and more information at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's theNoSurpriseGuys.com. Remember, be there at 8 o'clock this Saturday morning. TheNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review, with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as the issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics look to host the Heat Wednesday evening. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Are the Dubs cooked? Let's get into it with Cattles and Ramie with special guest Chris Watkins.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
Second hour of the radio program, Cattles and Ramie. Ramie out. He's returning from Vegas, hopefully well hydrated and feeling pretty well. He will join Chris Watkins tomorrow in the midday.
Yeah.
And myself and JJ scheduled for tomorrow afternoon.
Hey, what about me?
And Simone. What are you doing? Oh, you can join me and Ramie if you want.
Thank you. It's nice to be wanted.
Yeah.
I will be here at the afternoon show helping. With everything.
So needy now. It's getting
Simone's
bad.
getting a big head.
It's getting bad.
Mm.
Like when I first came here in December 21.
Right.
Simone was, the front office coordinator. What are we? Front desk coordinator. Is that the title? Front desk coordinator. They don't call them receptionists anymore, right?
No, definitely not.
So it's a front desk coordinator.
I love that.
And also worked with sales.
Yes.
And she was nice, Yeah. And now, since she has joined the show, it's getting worse by the day.
Yeah.
Do not come for me unless I call for you.
Yeah. That's the Simone heat. That's the Simone heat. It got so bad last week that she apologized to me in real time for giving me a little too much Friday attitude over reality TV.
Yeah.
And I said, where's this sweet front desk coordinator Simone that I knew?
Maybe that's why I'm in free agency right now.
Wait a minute.
Is this breaking?
I love flowers.
What is this?
What can I say?
Is this breaking?
I'm just kidding.
Free agency. Get out of here.
I'm out of here.
Your hours. free agency.
I'll sign Simone to a 10-day.
No, we got her. We got her on a contract. She doesn't even know. She's locked in.
Exhibit 5 contract.
Yes, she's locked in. Crazy.
I don't know. I'll have my people talk to her people.
No,
and,
no, you won't.
maybe.
No, you won't. That'd be torturous interference. That'd be tampering. We're not for that.
Non-exclusive
no
tag.
tampering.
All right,
we'll
fine.
Let's jump back to some basketball though. So the Dubs, no juice for Game 6. No juice at all against the Lakers. That did not go well.
Did not.
Here was Steve Kerr in the post game after losing the series.
I think we found ourselves down the stretch and in the first round of the playoffs. And to be fair, I think this team probably, ultimately maxed out. I think, we were barely in the playoff picture for most of the year. So to make that push, to get there, to win an epic first round series, and then, to give the Lakers, a fight in this series and have our chances, that puts us in the top, among the top, 8 teams in the league. That's probably where we should be. This is not a championship team. If we were, we'd be moving on.
They maxed out.
Jeez.
We're not a championship team.
Tell me how you really feel, Steve.
Ramona Shelburne wrote about the Warriors at ESPN.com. Here's part of what she wrote. The Warriors are privately optimistic about their chances of retaining Draymond Green if he opts out of the final year of his deal. Klay Thompson and his expiring $43 million contract might make it seem he would be a logical trade candidate, but sources say Thompson still has strong internal support. Steph Curry. Ramona then dove into the Draymond Green punch scene around the world of Jordan Poole before the season.
Yeah.
And I had said when it happened, it could impact this team. It could affect this team. Here's what Ramona wrote about that. Green's punch did not just knock Poole out. It laid bare the tension between the older championship core and the younger players the organization hoped would supersede them one day. And it has never really gone away, sources say. Poole has stayed so quiet this year that it was rare to hear him discuss his true feelings candidly. But his feelings, as well as the frustrations of the Warriors' other young players who struggled to earn consistent playing time, were well known throughout the locker room, team sources say. It caused issues, folks.
Yeah.
Then there was the issue of the tape of the practice incident leaking publicly on TMZ. The organization launched an internal investigation to find out how that private video leaked, but no punishment was ever announced, and the trust that had been violated was never fully restored. One team source said, quote, people changed after that. Everybody was suspicious for a while, unquote. So look, the punch impacted several people on this team, impacted relationships on the team. You lost, Curry for 26 games. You lost Wiggins for most of the regular season.
Right.
And it just didn't work out for them against the Lakers. The Lakers just played better than they did. And the Warriors did not shoot well all postseason long. Even against the Kings, they couldn't throw it in the ocean. So the question is, are they done or will they run this thing back? Here's Draymond Green on his podcast.
Like I mentioned earlier, Steve said, like, this team maxed out. And I said this thing isn't maxed out, but this team was maxed out. Like, I can 100% agree with that. But when I said this thing isn't maxed out, what I mean, like, we've been rolling. We've been doing this now. I've been here 11 years. That ain't over. Like I always say, I'm riding out with the same guys I rode in with. And what I know about those guys that I rode in with, still a lot left in the tank. It's still a lot of winning ahead of us. I was talking to Klay, Ty, Klay, Steph, and myself, just like how important and big of a summer this is, like how locked in we need to be. Like, no, I don't think this is it. I'll say it right here for you. No, this isn't it. We plan on doing this thing again. That's the plan. Obviously, this is a business and things has to take place. I get that.
As far as this core, Steph, Klay, Draymond, are they done? Is the dynasty over? Ooh, the big
sigh.
Big sigh.
Big sigh.
The dramatic sigh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think their championship reign is over. I think that they're going to continue to try and roll this thing out. I think they're going to continue to believe that they're going to be really close to championship contenders. And we haven't seen this in a while. We haven't seen a franchise or a dynasty truly go out swinging in a really long time. And I'm excited to see what it looks like as these guys head into, you mentioned Steph Curry's going to be 36, 37 years old. Draymond's going to be heading into a different part of his career. Clay is not the same guy that he used to be right now.
Yep.
I think that they're just way too prideful, and I think that they Bob Myers, and if Bob Myers sticks around, but Joe Lacob isn't going to want to be the guy that breaks this thing up. After watching all the Last Dance stuff, I think a lot of those guys felt like they had, and Steve Kerr obviously having ties to those Bulls teams. It feels like they felt the regret of not knowing what it would be if they would have continued to just keep trying to win championships. And I think these guys feel like they're a very proud bunch. I just have a tough time seeing them calling it quits after how they won the championship last year.
I don't think you can run it back with the same plan next year. Now, I think you could have a team that has Curry, Clay, and Draymond on it that can win.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't run it back the same way that you had it this year. I think this team in its current iteration has to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Things have to change. And I'll start with Klay Thompson. Look, I love Clay. He's not a dependable number 2 anymore.
Not a $40 million guy.
He's just not a dependable number 2 night in, night out scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what he did in this postseason, Chris. He averaged 18 points a game. He shot under 39% from the field.
Oof.
He shot under 37% from 3.
Right.
And he's never been a guy who's going to give you a ton of free throws and offensive versatility.
And he's not the defender he used to be.
No, he's mostly a mid-range three-point shooter off of movement. And he's a guy that used to defend at a high level that doesn't necessarily do that anymore.
Doesn't put the ball on
and
the ground
can't do it consistently. Yes, and doesn't put it on the ground. So he doesn't draw free throws. 24 free throws in 13 postseason games.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not a dependable night in, night out number 2 scorer. I think that those days are done with him.
Yeah.
Green, along with Clay, they both have to take pay cuts.
Yes.
If Green's going to stay and he wants to stay long term, they have to work out a contract where he ain't making more than like $20 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not that guy.
Yeah.
And will he swallow his pride and agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But he's 33 years old. His defense is not the same that it used to be. Yeah. Offensively, as we know, he's not going to give you much night in and night out.
And it's only going to get worse, too.
And it's only going to get worse because as guys age, their athleticism, he's not going to age gracefully.
No.
And he's not a guy who's just going to be able to stand there and knock down threes. You look at Al Horford, for example, in a PJ Tucker, even though Tucker's had his issues the last year or two, those are guys who could shoot, and they worked on their shooting. And so as they age, as Al Horford is 36 years old, he was number 2 in the league in three-point shooting this year. Green doesn't have that kind of game.
No.
So that's an issue. And one more thing I will say, they have zero interior offense. Looney's not an offensive guy. Green's not an offensive guy. When you go double big with Green as a 4 and Looney as a 5, you should not be able to score. That's why it makes me sick to think still back to the game when, Green and Looney were just beating up the Kings inside offensively. That should never happen.
Right.
Green and Looney, they ultimately limit this team's offensive versatility. And if Curry and Clay are not knocking threes down like bananas, they can find some ruts.
Right.
So I think you need Andrew Wiggins to step up to be your second scorer.
That too.
He needs more shots. He needs more usage. He should be the number 2 guy behind Curry on this team. Clay slides back to the third option. You might have to move on from Looney and find somebody who can give you some offense underneath.
How about a guy you didn't mention there, a guy who's going to make $30 million starting next year, Jordan Poole? I don't know. That's to me. I don't know. This segment's wrapping up. I don't know how much time we have here, but that's to me is their biggest problem. Is they have to figure out how they can get something.
Problem.
How can they get something productive out of that slot? Whether it be figuring it out with Jordan Poole, and from Logan Murdoch wrote a piece for The Ringer today talking about where Poole talked about his relationship with Draymond. Doesn't sound great. Sounds like it's strictly business. And, I have a tough time seeing both of those guys coming back next year.
Does anybody want Poole?
Well, that's the question to me, especially at that number. The only
his offense, his offense is, in his head.
Yep.
Defensively, he's terrible.
Non-existent.
He's a walking turnover.
Yeah.
And now, what did the Green thing do for his confidence? And how is he going? If he is traded, how does he transition to a new team and a new locker room?
The only player that made any remote sense to me. What do you think about this? This ties into the interior scoring. Jordan Poole for DeAndre Ayton. That to me is about as good as the Warriors could do with that pool spot. Is it gets them a center. Ayton has his own flaws, but he's a guy that you can throw it into. He's a legit, scoring big. And maybe you can, with your Warrior magic and Steph, maybe you can turn him into something else. And the problem with him is getting him locked in, getting him focused on a nightly basis seems to be the issue. Maybe, maybe a little winning situation like Golden State helps that out. But I think that they have to get something better out of Jordan Poole. That's a guy that, especially moving forward at that cap figure, you can't have a $30 million guy coming off the bench or scoring 8 points a game.
Lacob can't be spending $100 million on Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Right. That's not going to work out.
You're right.
That is a losing. Right. That is a losing proposition for them. So they've got to figure out: is Klay and Green willing to play for less money? Again, put Wiggins in that 2 role unless you're going to move on from him. But they have changes they've got to make. Yeah. Your thoughts, all the listeners, all the people watching us on YouTube. Give us that thumbs up, by the way. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Try to get to 50 likes. If we get to 50 likes before the end of the second hour,
let's do it.
You can throw that in Ramie's face.
I'm trying to look at the other shows. I'm always on a goal to beat the other shows.
You can say I subbed in for you, Ramie, and the likes were there. 916-339-1140 text line, phone number 1-800-920-1140. Don't forget youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Your thoughts on the Warriors? Is the dynasty over? Also, is one NBA franchise, speaking of changes, about to make massive changes? Thoughts in 90 seconds.
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Are you ready to hear this on Sactown Sports? Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
Now, hopefully, Tony Dogs is okay, but he's been MIA from the YouTube chat for a week or two.
Yes, I certainly hope he's okay too.
People are saying that he's a Warriors fan.
Yes.
Has he gone on the record and admitted he's a Warriors fan, or was he just trolling Kings fans throughout the series?
I'll let the YouTube people speak on that more. Sometimes I miss things, but I'm under the impression that he is. And yeah, he's gone awfully quiet. Awfully quiet.
Here you go, Chris. Megadeth Knight says, if the Warriors had to move on from Looney, don't know how it would happen, but I would love to have him back up Domas.
Yeah. I was talking about that last season, man. Would have been nice if the Kings could have signed him to a really cheap deal in the offseason. But yeah, I think he's the exact type of dude that you need. Just a guy like I feel like Damian Jones would have been perfect this season. He was a guy that the Kings had 2 years ago.
Yep.
Just knew his role. He
I
was
agree
a
with
backup
you.
center.
I said the same damn thing.
That's all he needed. That's all we needed was a guy who knew
some rim protection with his athleticism,
center.
right? Can rim protect a little bit, can rim run, can finish at the bucket.
Nothing special.
Gives you length, gives you athleticism.
Yep.
Knows his role.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I think Looney's almost too overqualified at this point.
You could always go the draft route. We know that Oscar Tshiebwe came in for a workout last week. That dude's a beast on the boards.
Yep. Hustle kind of guy.
6'9", 7'4" wingspan. He's that kind of player.
Yeah, for sure.
So, maybe you can get that done, fill that spot via the 24th pick, which, by the way, tomorrow
I just
is going to be the
learned
draft
this.
lottery.
I just learned this.
Yeah, think about last year.
Right.
How in tune we were with every single solitary machination of the NBA draft.
Right.
We knew when the lottery was. We knew the percentage of chances that the Kings had to move up to 1 and what chance they had to get 2, 3, 4. This year, it's like,
it's tomorrow.
By the way, draft lottery tomorrow.
Could you imagine?
Which is fantastic. It means you took that step. But it is weird where it's like, wait a minute, huh? What?
Yeah. The most important day of the year is tomorrow? Wait, what?
Same thing with the NFL draft this year. It was like, wait a minute. Oh, the NFL draft's this week.
Right.
Because last year we spent a lot of time, talking about the draft because the Kings weren't playing. You got to find content in this business, Chris.
Yeah. It made no sense to me. I was like,
No.
the NFL draft was super confusing to me because I was like, man, the Bears and Panthers, the Panthers traded for the number 1 pick. I feel like that would have been all we talked about for like a month and a half.
And it was nothing.
It was nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Cattles and Ramie. Ramie out. Returning from Vegas today. He'll be back tomorrow, but he'll be in the midday tomorrow with Watkins. Watkins in with me today. Don't be too confused on this Monday.
No.
We're just talking about possible changes for the Warriors. 76ers, man. That was a debacle yesterday.
Yeah.
Second half, disaster. Third quarter, outscored 33 to freaking 10. Chris, this is a team.
Can you imagine?
5 of the last 6 years they've lost in the second round. 5 of 6 years they've lost in the second round. The only year that they did not lose in the second round, Chris, they lost in the first round against Boston in 2019-2020. And man, oh man, there are some questions. There are questions about Harden. There are questions about Doc.
James Harden.
And here's a question from Chris Mannix yesterday to Doc in the post-game press conference.
This is about to become maybe a very expensive team after the summer. Are you of the belief that it has not yet hit a ceiling, that this group should be given another shot?
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly, but that's not up for me. It really is not up to me. That's up to our owners and Daryl. I think they like what they saw overall, but I don't know.
Chris, when you look at Harden and Doc's resumes and track record, Harden in games 6 and 7 in this series combined, he scored 22 points in the final 2 games of this series. He shot 7 of 27 from the floor. He shot 1 for 11 from 3. He turned the ball over 10 times. That's been Harden's calling card postseason. He'll show up for a game or two, but then when you absolutely need him, backs against the wall, he crumbles.
This series was a James Harden series to a T. 2 40-point games. Steps up when the star isn't there, has you believing. You're like, oh, maybe this is a narrative shifting series for Harden. Just back to his old stuff, back to his old ways. 3 straight games, no points in the fourth quarter. Just I mentioned it earlier. If you watch the tape, there's no intent. There are moments where the Celtics are literally giving James Harden the lane.
Yeah,
and he's just dishing it out to PJ Tucker, Tyrese Maxey on the corner. It's the Anthony Davis thing. If you're a superstar, you need to be a superstar every single night. That's what makes it so hard to do.
And look, we got Joel Embiid. He's not going to dodge the smoke. We got smoke for Joel later because he absolutely is part of this thing.
Yeah, he did himself no favors either.
Doc Rivers, death, taxes, and him blowing a series lead.
Yeah,
that's what he's been.
6 and 10 in Game 7.
Hembo from ESPN tweeted this yesterday. He's a Sixers fan. 2003 Magic led the Pistons 3-1. Magic lost. 2009 Celtics led the Magic 3-2. Celtics lost.
Yep.
2010 Celtics in the finals led the Lakers 3-2. Lost. 2012 the Celtics led the Heat 3-2. Lost. 2015 Clippers led the Rockets 3-1. Lost. 2016 Clippers led the Blazers 2-0. Lost. 2017 Clippers led the Jazz 2-1. Lost.
Boy.
2020 Clippers led the Nuggets 3-1. Lost. 2021 76ers led the Hawks 2-1, lost. And this year led the Celtics 3-2, lost. Doc coached them all. Those teams lost them all. Evan Abrams tweeted out, Rivers is now 17-33 with a chance to clinch a series. The 33 losses is the most of any coach in NBA history.
Yeah.
And when you look at Mike Prada, who followed this up with a tweet, 16 and 33 for Doc. In those situations, Greg Popovich is 33 and 14. Eric Spoelstra is 21 and 11.
What do they say about insanity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right.
What happens to this team? Harden's gone, right?
Well, so that's the funny thing about Doc saying it's not up to him.
He's headed to a Houston strip club.
It feels like he's like, oh, man. Turns out when you go to a city that really cares about basketball, it's a lot of pressure. I'm going to go over to Houston where there's no pressure at all to win. I can put up numbers. If we lose in the playoffs, I can just blame it on it being a young team.
Yep.
It's the writing's on the wall, in my opinion. I think Doc is gone. I think Harden's gone. And then I think I don't know what Philly does at that point. Like, then you're stuck with Tobias Harris. You try and move into this Tyrese Maxey era of
like
things.
Maxey. Can't defend.
Don't love him.
Can't defend. Yeah. If you like defense, not gonna love him.
Nope.
But
the PJ Tucker thing, I think, has run its course as well.
I think Tucker's run its course. Yep. Celtics just ignored him in the corner and said, take all the threes you want. You're not going to beat us.
Yep.
So I think PJ Tucker, that experiment probably done.
Yep.
Embiid, I know, came out and said, run it back. Of course he's going to say that.
Right.
Harris is walking into the final year of his contract, I believe. I agree with you. I think Harden's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got to build this team around Maxey and Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
And,
how do you do that?
Harris is fine for a third guy for now, but
right. How do they even try and build moving forward?
It's messy.
Because if you look at
they got rid of Jimmy Butler for Tobias Harris. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
You remove a vampire.
And part of that was because Ben Simmons couldn't handle Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. And Ben Simmons is gone. And
Ben
they got
Simmons
James Harden
and
for Ben Simmons. So
Daryl Morey.
They have no more assets left to move unless that's why it's like at some point, is this going to come to, are they going to trade Joel Embiid? Are they going to trade?
There's no way they trade Embiid.
Maxey? I
don't think
know,
you can.
I don't know how, unless this team plans on losing a lot of games in the next 2 years. I don't know how.
I mean, Maxey's 22 years old.
They get good.
Maxey's 22.
Yeah.
I don't think you can trade him.
Do you build around Maxey?
No.
These are the.
You have to build around Embiid. You have to continue the Embiid thing. You have to.
Just run it into the ground?
Yeah. What else are you going? The guy just won the MVP.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to trade him.
I agree. You're not going to trade him this offseason for sure. I just don't know projecting forward. You have Joel, you have Tyrese Maxey. Where else are you getting better? You're going to be picking in the mid to late 20s.
Remember when
I don't know where they go.
Remember when Morey met with Harden when he got off the plane after the trade?
Oh my God!
He hugged Harden like he would hug his wife.
Yes.
Does he have a wife? I don't know.
I don't know.
If he had a significant other, if he does, just all the love in the world for the Bear.
He's his guy. That's his guy. And
he went down with the ship.
He definitely went down with the ship. And I wouldn't be surprised if Daryl's gone too. I really wouldn't, because this is
woof.
It's just a bad situation. Again, there's not really much positive to take from the future, especially if all these guys just leave.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the Kings. If Sasha Vezenkov joins the Kings, what will his role be? We'll talk about that next.
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of your boat cruising along the Intercoastal. And there's the sound of the prop hitting a really big rock. And now the sound of waves, because the engine stopped. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discount. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
A lot of new enrollments, huh? Braylon, Monique's daycare is crawling with new arrivals.
Hey, sweetie, are you hungry?
She needs more early childhood educators.
Did your sock slip off again?
And a nap.
Hey there, little guy. Okay. Shh. Whoa.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Save big on your new Silverado at Meta Chevy with big discounts off MSRP on a big selection. Plus, available 1.9% financing and no payments for 90 days. Find your savings on your Silverado at MetaChevy.com. Find new roads.
Golfers, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is redefining the word sale. With $500,000 in Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio closeout inventory, you're sure to find your next nearly new showroom clubs at discounts up to 75%. From full sets of irons to metalwoods to wedges, visit the Hagen Oaks Garage Sale and find discounts up to 75% on selected clubs right now at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com. As the son of a 30-year career United States Air Force pilot, Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many contributed in serving our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. When you're planning your Memorial Day celebrations, don't forget the Keys family and Naturewood Home Furnishings. For more than 73 years, they've offered the widest selection of quality, made-in-America furniture and accessories. And right now, with their Memorial Day sale, you get to choose the offer that works best for your family. You can choose to take 10% off the regular price, or on approved credit, you can have free financing for 24 months with equal monthly payments. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available in your choice of savings. 10% off or special financing. It's all about choices and always about quality. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for their sensational Memorial Day event. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for that water wheel.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Are you ready to finance your first home or your next move? Well, let Safe Credit Union's local mortgage team help you get pre-approved before you start looking for that perfect home. Jason Ross here, and now through June 30th, get a $900 lender credit when you choose Safe Credit Union for your home lending needs. And Safe's mortgage team has an excellent record of personalized service because they're all about you. You'll know exactly what to expect and feel supported during each step of the process. Apply for a Safe Home Loan today at safecu.org/get900 and let Safe put you first. Safe Credit Union is an equal housing opportunity lender.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review, with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as the issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics look to host the Heat Wednesday evening. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Welcome back into Cattles and Ramie with special guest Chris Watkins.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and more.
This is Cattles and Ramie
on Sactown Sports.
C-Dub in for Ramie today. Ramie heading back from Vegas. I'm gonna warn you, because you're gonna be working in the midday tomorrow with Ramie.
Yes.
There's a high probability that show is completely off the rails.
Yeah.
I would just embrace it as much as you can.
Okay.
Because be ready for.
I need some of that. Though.
He's going to. I'm sure he'll have at least a couple of Vegas stories.
Oh,
if
great.
he doesn't,
yeah.
Tell him you are disappointed in
The
him.
Mackloff magic is beaming when I disrobe.
Oh, I miss him.
I'm expecting a tan Ramie, like a very, very tanned out Ramie.
Well, he said he doesn't really do that as well in the sun.
Really?
You got to think about all that time that he spent up there.
Oh, facts. Yeah.
It's a big joke with him.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he says for his background, it's surprising that he doesn't do well
exactly.
in the sun.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like me, no shocker.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I
It'd
look
be
like
dangerous.
I
It
look
would
like
be-
powder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Vegas heat for you would be a problem.
I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to stay indoors.
Yeah.
And also go early, like March-ish.
For sure. Yeah.
Me in Vegas in the summertime would be death.
I'm thinking I'm eyeing a December Vegas trip right now. Vikings play Raiders December 10th. Looking at it. December 10th feels like a real good time to go.
Wow.
Raiders Patriots in October.
Really? That's an early game.
I was gonna go last year and something came up and I couldn't
You gotta go.
It's a heartbreaker. Anyway, let's get back to the Kings here. So Sasha Vezenkov, according to Mark Stein, C-Dub, is trending toward inevitable as far as his future with the Kings. Sounds like it's only a matter of time. And Mark Stein's one of the best insiders in the game.
Yes.
So it sounds like it's only a matter of time before Vezenkov is a Sacramento King. And the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague tweeted today
Love that.
that Sasha Vezenkov won the Alfonso Ford Top Scorer Trophy.
Oh, I like the rhyming.
Yes, the Alfonso Ford Top Scorer. He was also the EuroLeague MVP of the month in November and February.
They got monthly MVP.
Yes.
Oh.
And he made does the MVP, do you tally all the yearly
that's what
MVP?
I'm saying. They say Americans give out participation trophies. Jeez.
Yeah. EuroLeague loves
Come
it.
on.
Turkish Airlines all for it.
God. Everybody gets a medal.
And so Vezenkov was also named on the first team All EuroLeague today.
Okay.
So lots of accolades for Sasha Vezenkov.
Right.
Chris, we talked about his game a little bit last hour, what he could bring to the table. What's the best role for him on this roster?
I think the ideal role for him is like, if he comes over and looks to be the guy that he is in Europe, 20 to 25 minutes a game off the bench. I kind of envision him, and maybe we can get into this now. Is Sasha Vezenkov coming at the expense of Trey Lyles? Because to me,
interesting.
There's a lot of crossover there.
12 Malatu YouTube chat says Lyles should start. Sasha can come in.
I've heard people been saying that.
Split minutes, 25, 20-ish. Lyles, to me, I'm not opposed to having both Vezenkov and Lyles on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how much money is that going to cost?
Yes.
If you're paying, because the one big unknown about Vezenkov, he's not making a lot of money in the EuroLeague. But the one unknown about Vezenkov, aside from role, like, is he going to ask Mike Brown, like, are you going to start me?
Yes.
I'm
a EuroLeague MVP.
Yeah, I won the MVP twice this year.
I just moved my entire life from Turkey or Greece to America to Sacramento.
I won the Alfonso Ford Top Scorer Award. Okay,
come on.
I'm first team All EuroLeague. I'm not. Okay. I'm not coming off the bench, Coach.
I'm the May MVP.
Is that what he's doing?
Yes.
Is that what he's going to do? That's an interesting scenario for the King.
I can't picture him as a starter.
The other part of it is the money.
Mm-hmm.
I can picture him as a starter on certain teams, not on this team.
Yeah.
If you start Vezenkov, your defense is going to be atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You were 24th, whatever it was, 24th, 25th in defensive rating. And now the front line defense with Vezenkov and Sabonis. Even Domas tries. Right. And Domas was better defensively than I ever would have anticipated this year. Shout out to him. He's still not a very good defender.
Right.
And with Vezenkov and Domas as your 4-5, yikes, defensively. Yeah. Because all you're going to see is pick and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. Get the mismatch with one of the two bigs and straight line drives. So the Lyles thing, the price thing, like if Vezenkov's going to make $8 million, are you willing to pay, say if Lyles makes $8 million, they're both going to make $8 million. Are you willing to pay $16 million for those two players?
In reserve?
Probably not.
Right.
I'm not spending because I'm already spending $10 million on Malik.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So that's right there's $26 million on your bench.
Yep.
I think I'd look for a cheaper alternative than Lyles if I bring Vezenkov in.
I think, and as all conversations do for the Kings this offseason, begin with this is assuming Harrison Barnes is not on the roster either, and which also makes it a lot scarier, in my opinion, to start Vezenkov next to Sabonis, because HB would do so much defensive work on the perimeter guys, on the Paul Georges of the world, on those big forwards. If they're going to have Keegan Murray, Sasha Vezenkov, and Trey Lyles as their only wing options, you're going to get toasted even worse than last year. Again, like you're only going to be worse. And so I don't know. I don't know if there's any way of getting around that fact.
The way to look at it is how much of you could argue. Now, we don't know the transition from EuroLeague to here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big question. And that's another reason why I put him on the bench, because I don't want those expectations.
Right.
Starting him right off the bat on a team that won 48 games, was a 3 seed in the Western Conference, coming from the EuroLeague to make that transition and throw him into the starting 5. That's a pretty big ask.
Right.
But we don't, like, if he transitions to the league okay, he might be a slight upgrade, somewhat of an upgrade on HB. So you're getting a slight upgrade on HB, but not a huge upgrade. And you're looking at Trey Lyles being Trey Lyles. So I'm not if Lyles is going to take a hometown discount. Again, if you're telling me that you can get Vezenkov for $5 million and Trey Lyles is going to take $4 or $5 million,
right,
we'll have that conversation.
Sure.
If both guys are looking to make bank, if both guys are looking for like $10 million each, sorry, I'm not fitting you both in.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
I don't think it makes sense.
No, I don't see it. I just don't see it. And the other question is, I don't know how you feel about this, but the 3 lefties in the starting 5 thing. Now,
that's super interesting. That is not something that has crossed my mind at all.
Like we talked about the 2 lefties with Fox and Sabonis.
Right.
And some people had questions. They were able to make it work.
Right.
Can you play 3 lefties?
Yeah.
How much of your action is tilted?
Right. Because everything has to be catered towards that, which, I'm sure for some instances it can be helpful because it's so completely mirrored to what everyone's used to. But wow, that's really interesting. De'Aaron and Domas talked about how, with the pick and roll game, that's beneficial to them, but to add a third one, it does change some things. I don't know if it might be one of those things that, we talk about it and it doesn't really, I think that there is some effect to it, but it's interesting. Definitely interesting.
How much of the impact, Can you play those 3 guys 30 plus minutes together? How funky and clunky could that get? I don't know.
Pretty clunky.
916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Thank you for chatting as well. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. If you give us that thumbs up, we would very much appreciate it. More likes means more eyeballs as we try to build this community out. We're trying to get to 50 likes. We're at 30. Let's see if we can get to 50. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We'll continue with your reaction. Also, it's Monday. That could only mean one thing, C-Dub. Overreactions. They're coming up next.
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. The King season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
It's probably one of the best starting points I could have had, starting in the NBA, Sacramento.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Quick Quack Car Wash.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear through the night tonight, a pretty warm night. Our overnight lows will drop down into the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, warmer than today. Look for highs in the low to mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Discover the shinier, stronger car wash experience with the new ceramic duck, only at Quick Quack Car Wash. Try our premium wash at 50% off by texting duck to 41284. You are going to look spectacular. Text duck to 41284.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep, switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
The NBA Finals.
Hearts are racing, heads are pounding.
No time to rest. No time to look away.
It's unbelievable.
Because in the finals, everything changes.
Oh, it's good.
Fate collides with destiny. Today's stars become tomorrow's inspirations. And 4 wins turn the end of a season into the start of a legacy. The NBA Finals begin June 1st on ABC.
Depression, anxiety, and trauma can happen to anyone. You aren't alone. 1 in 5 of us will have a mental health issue in our lifetime. And just like other illnesses, people who get support and treatment find healing and hope. Check in with someone you're worried about. And if you're feeling pain, ask for help. There's no shame in taking care of yourself or the people you care about. Be there for someone who's hurting, even if that someone is you. Learn more at StopStigmaSacramento.org.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Pain is not normal. Repeat, pain is not normal. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here with the Good Feet Store. Does this sound familiar? It's the end of the workday, and the pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back is unrelenting. Good Feet understands that you've likely already tried assorted remedies and solutions with no relief. And now you're pretty much resigned to living with the pain. But do not give in to the pain. Instead, come to the Good Feet store for their end-to-end 3-step arch support system. Good Feet is the nation's largest manufacturer and retailer of personalized arch supports. With arch supports in over 300 sizes, styles, and flexibilities, and an arch support specialist in each store. Come in today for a free no-obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk around the store or around the center. Experience the comfort, balance, and support possible with the Good Feet system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now in Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
It's Monday.
And we all have an opinion on what happened.
Let's get a reaction.
Are you ready to crown a champ yet?
That team's unbelievable. It's the best team I've seen in years.
Has your favorite team thrown in the towel?
They're horrible.
Overreaction Monday.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. So before we get to our overreactions on this Monday, a couple of things to note from the YouTube chat. Tin Titan, I don't know if this is C-Dub's family member.
Nope.
But signed Chris Watkins' 5-year, $100 million deal.
Oh, you heard it. Please.
Do we all not work? By the way, if you signed a $100 million deal, who's on your list that gets money? Have you ever done this? Have you ever played this game?
Yeah, like you're giving out money to people who
gets money and how much do they get?
My parents for sure. That's got to be the first one.
How many friends get money? It's almost like the wedding invitations. Where do you stop?
I feel like I wouldn't give money. I would give experiences. Like it would be, hey, like I'm a book.
So
let's all go on vacation.
Cheaper way. So the cheaper.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, like I saw Eric Armstead said the other day, like you gotta plan it out for people, like so you don't. Like if you give people the option to spend your money, they're going to spend it like crazy. But if you just kind of, plan it out for them, You already know what you're going to spend.
Take care of y'all chicken.
Exactly, Marshawn. Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you give somebody like $5 million, who knows what they're going to do with it?
Exactly.
Could be bad.
Right. If I just give you $5 million worth of things that I feel like you need, that's better. I get to control the amount. I get to control what spent. Not many people, to answer your question, not many people are getting a lot of my money, but there'll be a couple.
I feel like once you start that,
that's the thing, right? Every athlete will tell you that, because then second cousins come out.
I was gonna say you got your third cousin through marriage,
twice removed,
wanting $1 million. It's like, yo, relax.
Hey, remember when I babysat you for that week? It's like,
yeah, I'm not worth billions here.
And then you're in the passenger seat, flashing your pistol.
Well, that.
Hold on, baby.
That made the leap. Then you became Ja Morant quick. By the way, let's talk about the Kings. Scooter916, YouTube chat, youtube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. Give us that like. I'm even more off on Sasha now than I have ever been. I would 100% rather give Lyles $8 million than bring Sasha over.
It's interesting. There's definitely a piece of this that's like, how much of this is a new toy, and everybody's just excited to see what the new toy is about, and the new toy could just end up being something
the same old toy you've had.
Yeah, you just be okay. Like, I feel like people are coming over and feeling like this guy is going to be, even like Bogdanovich. I remember watching him before he came over to Sacramento. I was more impressed with what Bogey was doing than what Sasha is. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we just get a little ahead of ourselves.
TCG in the chat. I'm hoping Kada can make the jump and be that bench big we're looking for.
Like I said, sometimes there's toys that we feel like are, just because we don't see them, we build them up in our head and we're like, that's going to be the solution. Neemias Queta is the backup center. Perfect guy. These guys see him every day. I think they were searching for a backup big. I think if Neemias could have provided something, they would have taken it.
I would agree with that. I think if they had the confidence in Queta to be a legit rotational piece. Remember, Coach Brown coming out. I'll never forget this because it was right before the game I went to. They got smoked by the Wizards.
Oh, great game.
Hey, they won a couple games.
That was like the worst. That was probably the worst week of the season. They lost to the Wizards and the Hornets that week.
That game was brutal.
It was terrible.
But before the game, Coach Brown was like, "Hey, we're gonna try to roll with Nemi." And like 3-4 minutes into Nemi,
we're gonna roll out with Nemi.
So that changed quickly.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our overreactions. I'll start off.
Let's do it.
Jayson Tatum is the best player in the world.
Oh,
that's it.
Damn, you took mine.
The best player in the world. He proved it yesterday. Forget about it. Everybody needs to retire. JT has that title now. Best player in the world.
Wow. So we really do this overreaction. Like, it's overreaction.
Yeah, he's the best player in the world.
Oh, see, now I feel foolish. Now I feel like mine.
Why, you went with like slight overreaction?
Yeah, I mean, like, not even.
It's not
like
called Monday's
yeah,
slight
that's true.
overreaction.
All right, I'll switch mine up then. I had my secondary.
Ooh, on
I'll
the
do
fly.
my secondary
Is this
one.
gonna be a fly one?
A little bit.
All right.
I think what Niang did yesterday was on the level of Bush Leagueness
of what
Draymond stopped.
Ooh.
I think what Niang did yesterday was one of the most wild things I think I've ever seen anyone do, especially in a game 7.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what I'm like, Niang grabbed Jaylen Brown as he's falling to into the Sixers bench and holds on to his leg to prevent him, kneecap to prevent him from running back down court.
I'm going to use your point.
Pretty disgusting.
I'm going to use your overreaction and make a tangible, logical, sensible point here. 2 things need to be changed in the NBA. Number 1, the idea that you can't rescind a technical in real time.
I saw that they rescinded the tech today, which
absolutely
is
ridiculous.
Useless.
Like,
he could have been kicked out of the game. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown got a tech for taunting. It's not taunting when somebody grabs your knee and you turn around and go, "Yo, don't grab my knee, or I'm going to kill you."
Telling them what time it is.
Right.
Yeah, like that's what caused what.
Right.
Jaylen Brown's not taunting or saying anything to anybody if Niang doesn't grab his knee.
Right.
Number 2, the whole idea of like the replay review where the call's wrong and it's a successful challenge, but the team that still retains possession of the ball, that's ridiculous.
Surgery successful, but the patient died.
Yeah, ridiculous. Makes no sense to me. Drives me crazy. Did you see One more thing before we move forward.
No, we're good.
The Tatum block that they called goaltending.
Oh, yes.
And then they reviewed it and said it was goaltending.
Yeah.
How was that? They said the ball was on its way down.
Yeah.
What?
I don't get it.
The review system in the NBA needs to and give the coaches a challenge if they win a challenge.
Right.
This whole
That's
one
the
challenge
easiest
stuff
thing,
is
right?
nonsense.
Yes.
Come on, Adam Silver.
It's very simple. It's really, really simple stuff.
Cattles and C-Dub are going to give you a list of things that you need to change.
Yeah.
All right. Which one wants to go behind the glass? Is it Simone or is it JJ?
I'm dead serious. I literally have this Jayson Tatum thing written down. I'm going to try and come up
Such
with
a liar.
Wow.
right here.
I can't,
Overreaction Monday.
can't see your...
That's
Why
totally
you
fair. I'll come up with something on
And
the
like
fly.
you couldn't type that after I said it. You're like, look right here. It's in stone, i.e. Microsoft Word.
Such a hater. This.
Well, I'll go.
Monday.
I'll jump in front of Simone. I'm switching it over to baseball because I'm done with basketball at this point of the season. I'm saying the San Diego Padres in third place in the NL West. They will. I'm calling my shot, Babe Ruth. I'm saying they're going to win the World Series.
Oh my God.
San Diego.
Yeah, Padres this year bringing it back to California.
That stands for
We're not
Wales.
talking about LA.
Never mind. So San Diego's going to win the whole dang thing.
Whole thing. Bring the cup.
Got the Fernando fever.
Yeah, I just think they have a talented roster. If you really sit down and look at their lineup,
it's
murderous, bro.
Stupid.
What about
And
the
I think
Rays?
I think they have the pitching. Well, I think the Rays don't have the offense. I think they have the pitching. Vice versa. I think the Padres finally have enough pitching, and they have a couple guys like Pomerantz, who's on the IL. We still haven't even seen that.
Pomerantz. Drew Pomerantz. Oh my
Yes.
God, that's a name from the past that I remember.
Also, Bowmel, man.
Yep.
Shout out our guy Bowmel.
Absolutely.
So there are your Monday overreactions.
Our guy and not the Oakland A's guy.
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to have another overreaction that had to do with the Kings, but I won't do it. I'll table it.
I was going to do one on the Niners.
Kings would have been in the conference finals if they beat Golden State.
Sacramento Kings steady rising and rising and rising.
Oh,
I think so, though.
Oh, I definitely think there's a good shot. It's a good shot. But you know what? I will say selfishly.
LBJ and AD, who's defending those guys?
Yeah, that was my thing. I was like,
good luck.
HB, Keegan, good luck. You thought you thought Domas had problems with Kevon Looney? Oh boy.
If you got aggressive AD in that series, he would have averaged 35.
Boy. Yeah. Again, and Davion played a great first round series, but guarding Dennis Schroeder doesn't quite hit the same as guarding Steph Curry. Not quite as impactful.
TCG brings up a great point, by the way. How did Simone not know Nick would go Tatum? That's a you problem.
Yeah,
Simone.
That's
that's not
unimaginative.
When
today. I'm so sorry.
when TCG criticizes you.
I know.
You know.
I'm down bad. I'm down bad today.
All right, coming up, would you be okay if Sasha Vezenkov was the biggest Kings addition of this offseason?
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, AutoZone is here to help.
Get in the zone, Autos. What if I need a new one?
We have the right batteries right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, and what if I don't know how to connect it?
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
With a really nice selection of excellent cars and trucks on the lot every day, M&S Auto on El Camino Avenue, right off the Cap City Freeway, welcomes you. Repeat M&S customers come back because they get great vehicles and they save thousands. 4x4s, SUVs, American muscle cars, top-selling vehicles, fair deals for way less than a brand new car. First-time buyers are welcome. msautogroup.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers, spread awareness of your product or services,
We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Family-owned Clark & Rush, celebrating 60 years of serving Sacramento. It's time to convert your gas water heater and furnace to electric. Just turn to the experts at Clark & Rush and Carrier. We electrify more homes than any other contractor in Sacramento. Plus, we'll help you get up to $6,500 in utility rebates. We'll even do the paperwork. Call or visit clark-rush.com.
Smart energy savings is what we do. Clark & Rush.
Call 916-245-2829.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Quick Quack Car Wash is excited to announce Ceramic Duck, the stronger, shinier, luckier car wash experience that can only be found at Quick Quack. Their new Ceramic Duck car wash provides unparalleled protection from dirt, grime, rain, and UV rays while giving your car a noticeably deeper shine and smoother finish. With consistent use, you'll build a shine that will have you looking spectacular for days. Try the premium wash at 50% off by texting DUCK to 41284. So come on, experience Ceramic Duck today. You and your car will be glad you did.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review, with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as the issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics look to host the Heat Wednesday evening. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. We got Vocal on the Local pulling up on you right now with Cattles, Ramie, and Chris Watkins.
From the headlines to the sidelines, it's the Kings, the 49ers, the Raiders, the Republic.
Vocal on the Local.
All right, third hour of the show as we fly on by this Monday. Cattles and Ramie. Ramie returning from Vegas, so he's out. C-Dub, Chris Watkins is in today for Ramzilla. And C-Dub, Mark Stein reported over the weekend that the Kings and the Sasha Vezenkov relationship is trending toward inevitable. This relationship is looking like it's going to happen. And we've talked about Vezenkov and what he would add. We've talked about what role he might play if you bring him in. The next question to me is, if Vezenkov is your big addition, I'm going to set up a hypothetical for you. You re-sign Harrison Barnes. You sign Vezenkov. You re-sign Trey Lyles. You add another bench piece as a backup big.
Sure.
Are you okay with that? Are you okay if Vezenkov was your quote-unquote big addition from outside the organization? Another big sigh.
Yeah, I think it's I think
of the dramatic sigh.
It's more just like I think that's a very real possibility.
Sexy.
Really?
I think that there's I mean it's gonna be tough for them to make a lot of other moves. They're kind of limited in their cap space. I think if there's not going to be many more big names that they can get, especially with how much we're talking about Sasha right now, like especially with just the amount of hype that's going to be brought into it. I can't imagine there'll be somebody that Kings fans are more excited to see than Sasha. If he's the biggest impact guy, I think that's a problem. Like I think it's okay if he's the guy that coming in everyone's talking about the most. Maybe they sign a, not this guy particularly, but like Nerlens Noel as a backup center. No one's going to be having massive conversations about. But
hey, I pushed Nerlens Noel. I was pushing for him, and Frankie was in studio, said Monty wasn't even going to pick up the phone.
Okay,
I still don't get it.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you Nerlens Noel would have won you the first round, but rim protector, athletic, lengthy. We talked about Damian Jones earlier.
Yes.
Why the hell not?
Yeah, and that's Damian Jones, another perfect example. Just a guy, if they can just bring a guy in who can have massive impact, to me, that's more what I care about. But if Sasha is, in both senses, if he's the biggest name and the biggest impact guy, a guy that they're hoping will impact the team the most this season, yeah, I think I do have a problem with that because there's just so many unknowns about what Sasha is going to bring. And then with the questions like we talked about Trey Lyles and what it could mean, even, forget just if Trey Lyles has a natural fit with this team, will he sign back?
Right.
What will the minutes look like when the seasons actually roll out? Like,
it's a good question.
You don't want to have to, we'll just sign them both now and then make the decision later. If you're going to bring them both back, Trey and Vezenkov, bring them in, you have to have something figured out to where both of those guys are playing in the lineup. So I think that it's a really real possibility. And, frankly, I think the Kings need to make a couple other moves that are moving the needle as much as Sasha. I don't think he can be the biggest name they bring in.
I agree with you, man. It's not enough. If Sasha Vezenkov is like plan A and he's the guy that you're bringing in and you re-sign HB for like 15 to 20 million, it's not enough. It's the Kings have to do more. First of all, the question to me is like, how much of an upgrade? We talked about this a little bit last hour, but we can dive in more. How much of an upgrade is Vezenkov over HB?
Right.
Is he an upgrade over HB? Especially the first year or 2 years coming from the EuroLeague. If he's not an upgrade over HB and he's coming off the bench, to me, Vezenkov is the upgrade, quote unquote, over Trey Lyles.
Exactly.
Maybe. He's not your upgrade over HB.
Yes.
And to me, I'd love to see that upgrade from Harrison Barnes.
Yes.
And you can do that a couple of different ways. If you think Keegan's a 4 and you slide Keegan to the 4, you slide Herter to the 3, or you find a 3 to put in for Keegan. There's a couple of different things. People have brought up the idea of Domas moving to the 4 and getting a 5. I'm less on that than some other people are. I want to keep Domas at the 5, but there are different things you can do. Ultimately, Chris, the biggest thing you have to do is upgrade over HB. You have the opportunity to make a significant swing here this offseason.
Right.
Because you're going to have 20 plus million there for the taking. You do have the space to find somebody.
Right.
I talked about this last week, like a big swing. We all had our big swings. And my big swing was Jeremy Grant. Like there's the possibility that you could get a Jeremy Grant if that's who you like. That, to me, is an upgrade over HB. You have the capability of doing that with some money. If you just bring in Vezenkov, it's not a big enough upgrade over that spot that you need to upgrade on, at least in my estimation. And I also think, like, you need, I don't know if you agree with this, you need, like, 3 wing/front court additions to this roster.
Yes.
Vezenkov's one of them. What are you doing with the other 2?
Backup center.
And hopefully that other 2, maybe even 4, you could argue, those other 3 guys you're bringing onto the team, are they going to be upgrades over HB? At some point, you have to make your starting 5 better.
Yeah.
The easiest way to do that is replacing HB with somebody who is, you guessed it, better.
Yeah. I think again, like the entire offseason revolves around the conversation of Harrison Barnes and how they do it. I personally think it's a lot easier said than done to replace HB. I know they have they'll have that slot, that that cap hold on HB to try and figure it out. I don't know, man. I think that there's a lot of names out there. I don't know how many of them actually make the team better. I think that there is guys like Jeremy Grant. There's guys like Kyle Kuzma out there who are swings.
Out on Kuzma.
I don't know how many other guys. Like, it's, to me, again, and I keep saying this is the problem with Harrison Barnes is he's settling for the middle. Like, re-signing him to a long-term structure is signing up for mediocrity. You're signing up for the middle.
If you re-sign HB, let's say it costs you, I don't know, 4 years, $80 million to re-sign HB.
Yeah.
If you're going to sign that kind of a contract with him, you are married for the time being to this team.
Yeah.
Like, this is, and look, the argument would have to be, in my eyes, if you're not going to upgrade over HB, Chris, then you have to be 100% confident that Keegan's going to make that giant leap in year 2.
Yeah.
If you tell me Keegan's going to make that giant leap in year 2 and he is better creating his own shot, he's better in traffic, he's more versatile offensively, all of those things, right? And there's an argument to be had that Keegan can make those leaps and bounds kind of steps to get there. If you sell me on this idea of, hey, Keegan's going to be our number 2 guy, right? And Domas is almost going to be more of a 3/facilitator. De'Aaron's going to be your 1. And then HB can slide down and really be your 5th option in the starting 5. That would be, to me, the only way that you could expect your team to be better next year if you do not upgrade on HB, because you're going to be you're I don't want to say stuck because it makes it sound like it's a bad situation.
You're hamstringing yourself for sure.
Because you've got Fox and Domas. You want to sign Domas to an extension. He's unlikely going to take that extension this year because he can make a lot more money next offseason. So then you got Fox, Domas, and HB all making $20 million or more per season. That's your big 3. You're paying your 5th option big 3, almost big 3 money.
Yeah.
Which you can't.
Yeah, and I think that the problem with HB there too is, like, I think he's a lot more valuable to Sacramento than he is to anywhere else. I think that they have this, this narrative going on that he, when it's a true narrative, that he was so big for the locker room and so big for continuity and setting the example for all these guys. It makes me nervous that they're going to value that so much that they feel like they want to keep him. They want to keep continuity for the sake of continuity's sake, and not for, actually trying to team build and get better. And I feel like Monty McNair is a guy who would not view it from that kind of from that vantage point. I feel like Monty is a smart guy who understands these things, but at the same time, again, like, I just don't know if the move is that easy to get better from HB.
How much can you just continue to pour into your offense versus your defense?
Right.
If you bring back Vezenkov, if you bring Vezenkov in and you bring back HB and Lyles, your team is not any better defensively. It's better offensively, but not better defensively at all.
Right.
So at a certain point, are you going to, do you just believe that Mike Brown is going to get more from this team because you saw them again in stretches play good defense? Or are you going to say, well, look, we just can't take that for granted.
Yeah.
We need to bring in guys that can defend. They don't have to be all NBA defenders, but a guy that can hold his own water.
Right.
And I've been saying this all year long, positional versatility. If they could find a guy who could play 3 to 5, now you can mix and match.
Because that's the key to me also, is if you bring HB back, you have 4 guys who are taking those are your minutes at the forward spots. Is Vezenkov, Lyles, Barnes, and Keegan Murray. You have no room for guys who are like a Torrey Craig or whatever. You bring in those other wings. Like you said, this team needs 3, maybe 4 more wings or front court guys on the roster. I don't know if you're locking down all of these guys, you need some positional versatility, somebody who can maybe slide up from a 2 to a 3, someone like a Bruce Brown who plays for Denver, someone who shows some positional versatility, because that's another thing that in the playoff series the Kings really lacked, was an ability to go away from that starting lineup. They lived and died by it.
Josh Hart, Marcus Smart, if he's made available somehow, some way.
Right.
Those kinds of guys.
Dante DiVincenzo was one of those guys.
Jared Vanderbilt is one of those guys. somebody, anybody that gives you a little bit of, a little bit of defensive intensity,
defense, some
and physicality.
Rebounding, some physicality, right?
So, no, to me, bringing Vezenkov to Sacramento and then bringing back Lyles and HB, that's not enough.
And I can hear it. I can already hear the press conference start of the season saying, we're happy we brought HB back, continuity, another year under him, and we're excited about Sasha. It's not, to me, that's not selling. You're not selling me on that.
All right, your thoughts on the idea of Vezenkov, if he's brought here to Sacramento, is it enough if you bring Vezenkov to the United States and bring back Lyles and bring back HB? 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. Don't forget the YouTube chat. It's popping. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. When you swing by, give us the thumbs up. We always appreciate that as we try to get to 50 likes. We're limping towards 50 likes. We'll get to your reaction. Also, Ja Morant is in hot water again. What should the Grizzlies do? We'll discuss that. We'll discuss your reaction about Vezenkov in 90 seconds.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. The King season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
Returning is honestly my number one priority. Be a part of something special.
Stay tuned all off season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates. It's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Carmichael Dave here, welcoming back my dear friends at Fire Wings. 21 different flavors. I had 4 of those 21 Saturday for the game, watching with the family. As always, breaded Malaysian curry. Yeah, you better bet I got that curry. Knocked it out of the park, too. Go to firewings.com to make your order. That's what we did. We ordered 2 hours in advance, picked it up. There's nothing better for the game than Fire Wings. Check out the locations nearest you. Fire Wings, just wing it.
With you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive.
Sactown Sports.
All right, so this is fantastic. We'll get right back to basketball in a minute, but I saw this on Twitter and I mentioned it to Chris. So the Baltimore Orioles are like winning with celebrations, and they do a couple of different things. What I just saw is great. So home run at Camden Yards, and somebody from the Orioles bullpen has a hose and he sprays the fans. He sprays the bleachers with water, and they call it the bird bath.
I'm watching it right now.
It's fantastic.
It's a man who calls himself Mr. Splash. He has a Mr. Splash jersey.
Yes.
And he's just firing some water hose into the crowd. They got a bird bath cam. Everyone in the dugout also has got some water in their mouth. They're like shooting it like a bird fountain. This is terrific.
Shrimp juice everywhere. It's shrimp juice everywhere. It is fantastic. The bird bath. Shout out to the Orioles.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
And this is what baseball is about. This is making baseball fun. This
is good. To be crabby. Don't
this
celebrate.
Is good stuff. JJ, we like this, right? This is great.
Don't flip
this
the bat.
I love that.
This is good stuff.
Celebrate strikeouts. Come on. Right. We're all supposed to react like we're from 1895.
It's like the Bananas team, that's coming up in the summer.
The Savannah Bananas.
Absolutely. Bananas.
Evolve. It's a game. Enjoy it. Go crazy.
Go crazy.
By the way,
man.
it's 2023, and The Brat is on my television in this studio.
Yeah, what is this?
This is a show that somehow still exists.
Dish Network. Dish Nation.
Dish Nation.
Okay. Interesting. That is The Brat. Wow.
The Brat still around.
Wow. 2023. Well,
somewhat still around. I don't know how many people are really into the Dish Nation show.
Tuning in right now. We are.
You in on this, JJ?
No, I'm out on it.
Yeah.
But all respect, because she's pregnant, and happy early Mother's Day to the Brat.
For sure.
Well, now I look like a terrible
human.
No, not at all.
Jeez.
You just don't like her rapping anymore.
Happy Mother's Day to the Brat. The Brat, never forget you. Fantastic work when I was in my teenage years.
She's a matriarch of the female rap game, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to Ja Morant and what we think Memphis should do, a couple of reactions here from our conversation about the Kings offseason. Would you be okay if they added Vezenkov and then just re-sign Lyles and HB? Would that be enough for you? Steve A., I'll throw a name at you, Chris, because this has come up a couple times with Ramie and I.
Sure.
And Ramie returning from Vegas today. He'll be back tomorrow with Watkins in the midday, myself, JJ, tomorrow afternoon.
My fridge reeked.
And I've already wished good luck to Chris Watkins tomorrow during that show. Steve A., best case possibility that has a chance, trade for OG Anunoby.
See, the OG thing is
I don't think it has a chance.
I don't love it. I don't love
I also
the
don't
OG
think it has
thing.
a chance. I don't think you have the pieces.
That's my thing too,
What
right?
are you trading?
With any of the Kings trades, where it's even the Jaylen Brown trade, the Kings, especially when you're making trades, you have to have the most appealing offer.
Yeah.
And the Kings cannot, there's no offer the Kings can throw out there that's the most appealing to anybody, especially when there's OKCs of the world who have
a billion
every
picks.
first round pick and young talent as well.
Houston has 1 billion picks.
Right.
You have no picks you can trade until like 2028.
Right.
The Herter trade handcuffs you.
Right. If you're trading for OG Anunoby, you have to get rid of Keegan Murray. Like there's no way any conversation for any upgrade of Harrison Barnes doesn't start or end with Keegan Murray. Like nobody's doing a deal with the Sacramento Kings unless they get Keegan Murray.
Agreed.
That's how it goes. It's the price of doing business. Like you just saw what it took to bring Rudy Gobert over, Donovan Mitchell as well. Like you gotta pay the piper. If you're gonna play that game, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, and listen,
And you got to make sure it's for the right guy.
Fans get excited, off-season stuff. We all get excited, but you're not going to trade like a bag of basketballs and get value back. Okay, it's not going to happen. Right. So we've gone through this conversation, myself and Ramie on the show. Davion Mitchell and Kevin Herter are probably your most likely trade assets as players on this roster.
And
that's not going to get you a ton. I mean, it's not going to get you a great return.
Yep.
And you don't have picks because of the Herter trade. You got to wait until that pick vests, and then unless you want to go back to Atlanta and offer them a pick, and that's not going to work because you have the 24th pick. Atlanta's going to go, no. Why would we take the 24th pick from you when we could get a much better pick if we wait? So you're hamstrung with the pick situation, and people don't want to trade Keegan.
Yep.
Some people, almost treat him like he's untouchable.
They definitely do.
So if you're not trading Keegan, guess what? Forget about OG Anunoby or any of these players.
Right.
It's just a name that I brought up that I like. This was part of my realistic list, not the big swing list. But Cam Johnson, I love.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great fit.
Restricted.
Restricted.
That's the scary thing.
So you got to pay. Brooklyn, obviously, you might want to pay. Yeah. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But you could shed some salary if you trade Davion and maybe somebody else, and you renounce HB. You trade Rashawn's contract. You could come up with $30 million or so.
Sure. That'd be great. To me, that's the kind of that's a perfect signing for them.
I love the idea of Cam Johnson. Love it. My two wants was Cam Johnson and Naz Reid.
Love them both.
One of those two.
Right. A lot of Naz Reid chat.
Josh Hart too. So your thought about Josh Hart?
I love Josh Hart. I can't see Tom Thibodeau letting that man out of his hands.
He's gonna be holding him. He's gonna literally hug him all offseason. Perfect
Tom Thibodeau guy. I can't believe he played Quentin Grimes 48 and didn't play. I mean, he played Josh Hart 48 in one game, but that's if the Knicks do let him go, I think that's a great guy for the Kings to go after. He's the kind of guy who's just all dirty work. He'll score 10 points. We saw how he's capable of rebounding. Tough defenders, got that positional versatility we're talking about where he can play.
Yep.
He's more of the size of a 2, but with how he rebounds and how physical he is, he can play the 3. I would love Josh
like a
Hart.
Marcus Smart kind of frame,
I would hope under 10 mil.
Oof.
Maybe 15.
I said I'd love Josh Hart, but if you go over, if you start getting to the $15 million range, that's a little iffy for me.
Yeah. I think 12 is about as much as I would want to pay him.
Because
I would hope
the
to get him
question is, do you start him? You could start him.
You could.
You could start Fox, Hart, move Herter to the 3.
Yeah, I don't love that either, though.
Or you can move Herter to the bench. You could start Fox, Hart, Keegan, HB replacement, Domas.
Sure.
Interesting stuff. All right, let's get to Ja here for a couple minutes. Again, Ja showed up on social media with a gun. Unfortunately, this has now happened multiple times with the young man. And Memphis has come out and said they're suspending him from team activities and all of that, which means not much because it's the offseason. Here was Adrian Wojnarowski on Ja.
Ja Morant, if, as you just said, if that video appears to be what it looked like to the naked eye, Ja Morant holding a firearm for the second time in a couple months in an Instagram live video, he is facing a significant lengthy suspension to start next season from the NBA. I think the league showed, I think in Adam Silver's mind, some empathy to Ja Morant with that 8-game suspension. That was really a 2-game suspension, retroactive. He was in a clinic or a counseling center in Florida at the time. But this time it's different. He promised that his behavior would change. He was contrite when he met with the league. And now for this to happen again within 2 months of the first incident, he's facing a significant suspension from the NBA. And I think there's going to be a lot less empathy, a lot less understanding. I think the league office is going to be far more punitive in how it approaches how long and what this is going to cost Ja Morant away from the Grizzlies and away from the NBA.
Look, the league needs to drop the hammer. We said that. Memphis also needs to get their act together.
Yes.
Like, we can't look at this and say that it's only Ja Morant. Right. Ja Morant makes the decisions that he makes. He could certainly improve his surroundings and get a better group, a better crew around him that might be advising him in a better way. Look up Carmelo Anthony, who had some issues early in his career. He went out and found, the right advisors, surrounded himself with the right team, and completely rehabbed his entire image and his life and all that. That's the path Ja has to take. Memphis, though, they kind of allowed this to happen because of the slap on the wrist. The NBA also was complicit because they slapped him on the wrist. And, just to allow him to go to some clinic for 7 days or whatever the hell, that's not going to prove anything. That's not going to change anything. So they have to be more thorough, Chris, with his treatment. They're going to make sure that it's actual treatment that he's getting.
Right.
There are obviously protections for Ja, HIPAA, and all of that. You can't get too dug in deep. But I would want to know he's doing something more than going to a clinic for 7 days.
Right.
I'd also say, are there protections in the contract that you could go to?
Yes.
I don't know if there are, but if there
needs
are,
to be.
They need to creep closer to zero tolerance with him. It's not zero tolerance yet, but you're getting closer and closer and closer to that.
Yeah. And he's earned it. I mean, he's completely earned it. Like Woj said there, like he completely took advantage of this situation. He was shown a lot of grace in his first incident with this. I think a lot of people were wanting to believe everything he was selling and really wanted to believe that this could be a one-time incident. And now that it's happened a second time, there's just no excuse. I mean, like you said, there's just no reason to leave him any wiggle room, because if he didn't learn after the first time, there's no reason to think that he's going to learn any time after this. And it's just going to, if this is going to continue to be an issue for him, they need to have provisions for their own protection in order to be able to move on from this as seamlessly as possible, because you don't want this with a star.
No.
It's already bad enough. It's a little easier, and they're different situations, but it's easier to just say, we're not going to bring back Dylan Brooks regardless, and not have too much of an uproar about it. But if you're going to say
under any circumstances, we're not bringing Dylan Brooks back, but this guy
you
keeps showing
to
guns
say
on
that.
IG.
Exactly. So you can't. They have to figure that out, and you can't show Ja the same grace that he was shown in the first case.
All right, we'll continue with your Kings reaction. If you got thoughts on Ja, feel free. 916-339-1140 is that text line. Hit us up on YouTube. Aside from your reaction, though, coming up next, another postseason, another choke job by the NBA's MVP.
Cattles,
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Number one, I love dog agility. I just do. I love them.
You record that?
You
record that?
Well, because they're never on normal time. So if I'm bored and I'm, outside,
just go down the rabbit hole.
I just throw on, oh, hey, look, I have 5 dog agilities saved up.
Here are the corgis.
Yeah.
Dude, dog agility. Odd thing to record.
Well, that's an opinion.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Discover the shinier, stronger car wash experience with the new ceramic duck, only at Quick Quack Car Wash. Try our premium wash at 50% off by texting duck to 41284. You are going to look spectacular. Text duck to 41284.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Spring officially here. And with the long, cold, and rainy winter behind us, I'm sure you're counting the days until summer, but don't wait until it's hot to make sure your air conditioner is working efficiently and, most importantly, safely. Get ahead of the problem with a $49 AC tune-up from American Energy Heat and Air. There's nothing worse than your air conditioner going out when it's hot outside. Get a tune-up today and make sure you and your family are comfortable and cool in your home for the hot summer months that are right around the corner. Give them a call, 916-520-9990, or schedule your appointment online at AmericanEnergyAir.com. Better Business Bureau, A+ rating. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. Easy, convenient payment options, same as cash, low monthly payments through financing partners. What do you need? 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there!
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep, switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Growing a business brings pressure. Staying compliant and retaining top talent in challenging times. You feel stretched thin. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put over 35 years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Engaged people empowered to be their best means overcoming obstacles. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course is Sacramento's #1 course for fun. Players love Bartley Kavanaugh's fun design and great mixture of holes. Near the banks of the Sacramento River, Bartley Kavanaugh's moderately sized greens and generous fairway landing areas make for an affordable and fun round of golf. Bartley Kavanaugh offers a great pro shop, help planning your tournament or wedding, and a relaxing outdoor veranda for a cold beverage or a tasty meal. For tee times, visit BartleyKavanaugh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun.
Memorial Day is coming, and Elk Grove Kia has deals you'll never forget, like the hottest all-electric EV on the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just one or two, but every EV6 in stock. EV's not your thing? How about the sporty 2023 Soul GT line that you can lease for just $99 per month? Come look at all our exciting specials at Elk Grove Kia. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. $7,500 Kia lease cash plus $2,500 dealer discount equals $10,000 total savings for EV6 all-in stock Kia finance credit approval required. Not all will qualify. 99 plus tax, 24-month lease, $10K per year, 20 cents per mile over, 0 security deposit required, $52.50 customer cash required, incentive residual of $17,781.95 subject to Kia finance through one approval. One of this payment GK 8781210-533 offer expires 5/31/23.
Turn your highway into a smile way. Elk Grove Kia.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as the issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics look to host the Heat Wednesday evening. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. Here's that Embiid smoke we promised. Welcome back into Cattle's Ramie with Chris Watkins.
Wait till I get my money right.
One brings Makloff magic, while the other, we're still trying to figure that out.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
We'll have your chance to go see Sebastian Maniscalco coming up in a little bit. Sebastian Maniscalco tickets for you. That'll be happening on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline / contest line. But first, C-Dub, we promised Joel Embiid smoke. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
We talked about Harden. We talked about Doc and their sorry-ass track record. Joel, not much better. So the 76ers no-showed the third quarter. No-showed it.
Yeah.
They got outscored in the third quarter, 33-10.
Oof.
They scored 10 points in the entire quarter.
Yeah. I think they went 6 minutes without scoring.
Yeah.
Nick, I swear to God, it lulled me to sleep.
Not me.
I was like,
as my mom would say, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
I was. My face was right up against the TV screen.
Face down.
I loved every stop. I was pounding the court like the 6-foot white kid in college.
Yeah.
Except it was a 5'7" white kid in his living room.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. Joel Embiid. C-Dub. Joel Embiid finished with 15 and 8. He shot 5 for 18 from the field.
Oof.
He was 0 4 from 3.
Oof.
He is roughly 7'1" and 300 pounds.
Yes.
He shot 6 free throws.
Yeah, oof.
Joel Embiid.
It's getting worse.
This is the worst stat of the day. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Joel Embiid had 1 rebound in the first half.
Okay, that's already bad.
Embiid had 1 more rebound than I had in the first half of that game. The MVP.
Yeah.
1 rebound.
1 rebound.
How do you not do more than that? And we talked about Harden and Doc's history. Well, Ja, not great. He's the only NBA MVP in history to never make a conference final in his career.
Mm-hmm.
That's from Evan Abrams.
Oof.
Shield Kapadia tweeted out, the Sixers played 93 games this year, Chris. Their offensive performances, points per possession in games 6 and 7 ranked 92nd out of those 93 and 89th out of those 90.
Bad time to play your worst basketball.
2 of their 5 worst offensive performances of the season in 2 closeout games to get to the conference finals.
Oof.
And if that's not bad enough, what made things to me even worse was Joel Embiid's press conference. At one point, he was smirking and making a joke referencing Giannis after the Bucks lost to the Miami Heat. Here was Joel.
So for me, I just look at it, it's a good step. Like someone said, it was not a failure, steps to success. But yeah, you just gotta, it's tough.
Not the time.
You just lost.
Yeah.
Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
You just got throttled. You got embarrassed in the second half.
Yeah.
Your MVP season is now seen as like a footnote.
Yep.
To you again losing in the second round for the third straight year.
Mm-hmm.
And you go out there and smile and talk about, quote, Giannis. If I were a 76ers fan, I would
I'd be so hot.
Moving furniture in my house.
Oh, my God. That's not what you want your star to be saying.
No.
Like you said, like
even just from the optics of it.
Exactly. Like even if it's, I'm not going to tell a man how to react to something like that. Like if you lose, everyone deals with losing differently, and especially when you get blown out like that, I'm sure they went through the emotions, all the sad emotions early. But you got to read the room, man. Especially with Philly fans, you cannot come out smiling, smirking, making jokes about a team that also failed to meet expectations and try and parallel that to what you're talking about.
And Giannis won a championship, man.
Too. Right.
Giannis
Also,
won a championship.
Right.
Joel, you can't get out of the second round, my man.
Right.
Like, it's not a time to be cracking jokes or smiling. I know Embiid's a playful guy, and that's part of the reason why people love him and all that stuff.
Sure.
But in that moment, I'm not a big body language dude, but in that moment, after what just happened, you got embarrassed in that second half. You played like dog crap.
Right.
Harden played like dog crap. And to go out there and just be like, success is like, it's just not.
That's not the
great.
mentality that we've seen from people who are great, right? Like usually a loss like that's supposed to fuel you all off season long. It's supposed to be the only thing you think about. And yeah, like you said, like Joel is a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. And that doesn't mean that he had to, I don't know. Just because you're happy-go-lucky doesn't mean that you need to be able to take moments seriously like that. Like this moment right now is not necessarily the time and place to start joking around. Like you can do that for your exit interviews in a couple days if they do those. But immediately following that Game 7, the last thing any Philadelphia 76ers supporter wants to hear is your star player laughing about what just happened.
Here are the facts, man. Like, we could look at Harden. We could look at Tobias Harris. We could look at Doc. This dude's the MVP of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And he is supposed to be the best player in the game this year.
Right.
You got to step up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get one rebound in the first half of a Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
You can't finish with 15 and 8. You can't just hover around the three-point line all game long and make it easier for the Celtics to defend you. You need to impose your will on that basketball game.
Yes.
And Embiid failed to do that.
Yeah.
He needs to step up. His conditioning has been awful every year.
Yep.
By the time he gets to the second round, he's gassed. He can't get up and down the floor. And if you get to a Game 6, Game 7, he's got nothing left in his tank. That's been the case from year one.
Right.
Get some. We all make jokes about Luka and Luka's out of shape. Luka made a conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Get into shape.
Yeah.
Like he has consistently not been in good enough shape, and his style of play again. Like you've got to eat in the paint, man.
Yeah.
Like you are 7 foot. You're 300 pounds, whatever you are.
Yep.
You need to dominate the paint.
Yeah.
Instead of hovering around and playing like you're a wing or a guard. Get your big ass down in the paint and score 35 points. It ain't like.
And how many times is a double team gonna like? That's the answer. That the book is out now on Joel, and it's been out on Joel Embiid. If you double him in the post, that it completely shuts him down. He doesn't have the. He's an improved playmaker. He's got improved vision since he first came in the league, but he's just not there. And like again, how far can you ride Joel Embiid into the playoffs? It doesn't seem like you can get past the second round if you're just gonna feed him the way that he's fed right now.
The day the 76ers turn the corner is the day that Joel Embiid turns the corner. And if he fails to do it, this team is going to continually lose in the second round every year, maybe even first round.
Yeah.
He's your leader. He's your guy. You can't have him
They
do
need
what
other
he did in
guys
that
around him,
series.
too.
Yeah. And James Harden disappearing act doesn't help. Another NBA former coach of the year gets fired. We'll have that and more coming up.
And Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Haddles and Ramie.
Haddles and Ramie. Haddles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
All right, in less than 10 minutes, you'll have a chance to win a couple of tickets to go check out Sebastian Maniscalco. We'll do that in a little bit. We also want to get to another former NBA Coach of the Year getting fired over the weekend. We'll get to that. Oof. And another former coach, head coach, interviewing in Milwaukee that made us pay attention and close attention. We'll get to all of that. But first, couple of reactions for you, Chris. Just bounce it off. Text line 916-339-1140. Got to find a taker for Richaun Holmes' contract. Lyles was solid this year. Love to see him back. I think he's one of the only tough guys we got. You know, the one face-off against Lopez really, really won over.
Did a lot. Did a lot for his street cred.
Trey Lyles is Mike Tyson now on this team.
Exactly.
Because he stood up to Brook Lopez and got mushed.
Yep.
Sasha is a good gamble. It'd actually be great to keep Barnes at 10 to 12 million. I think HB is going to look for more than that.
Yeah.
Definitely need to add a big. And they mentioned Naz Reid. I've said it. I'm on the Naz Reid choo-choo train.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just a matter
of what he wants. Right?
Do you know how old Naz is?
If I had to guess, 20. He's probably in the age range of all those guys. I would say 24, 25. If I had to guess.
He's 23.
Wow.
He's younger than you think. I love the idea of Naz Reid. You talk about a big that you could put next to Domas at the 4. He's athletic. He can shoot.
When you look at his numbers too, and he's kind of got that Kevin Huerter thing that he had in Atlanta, where he's just consistently, since he entered the league, been this bench contributor who's always put 8 to 12 points per game up.
Yeah.
And he can either continue to do that, and that's totally fine, or like Kevin Huerter, you could see him potentially getting an expanded role and thriving in it.
I think he could be a 15-point-a-game guy.
Yeah.
If he gets the opportunity.
Right.
The text line, aren't you looking for a two-way player? I'm guessing this is directed to me. Jayson Tatum is a great offensive player, but on defense, he would have the complete package to be the best defender in the league, yet he is not a good defender.
He is.
Yeah.
He is a good defender.
He's a very good defender.
He's
he's
not Kawhi Leonard, but he's definitely I would put him as above average defender, especially for star quality.
Well above average.
Yeah.
I think he's well above. Look at last year's playoffs. Just look at that postseason run. He defended Kevin Durant. He defended Giannis. He defended Jimmy Butler. He defended Steph Curry on some possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, we talked about this. He switched on Tyrese Maxey and shut him down.
Everybody.
He switched on Harden and shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
He played Joel Embiid a little bit here and there. He played Tobias Harris. He can play 1 through 5. If you don't think Jayson Tatum's a good defender, then we're not watching the same player. Right. I think he is clearly
and he has the tools to be crazy too, right? Like crazy wingspan.
Yeah.
And then it ties into what you talked about earlier with that front court value, where it's just like he's 6'9" and has a 7'2" wingspan. You just have a certain.
Let's just put it this
advantage.
way: where would Tatum rank on defensive players on the Kings if he was on this team? Second behind Davion.
Yeah. If not first.
If not first, because of his versatility.
Yeah.
So,
I'm saying a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
That doesn't prove nothing to me. You got to give me something else.
Well, listen, I do that because I'm guessing the texter is a Kings fan.
Right.
And so they probably think Davion Mitchell is like the greatest defender in the history of defense.
Not better than Tatum.
Yeah.
Tatum is a top 10 guy for a reason.
So text line, 5th starter needs to be a big who can rebound and block shots, also make threes. Naz and Brook Lopez are gettable.
Oh, Brook Lopez. Now you're talking about
see, I know you're on this too. Ramie's on this.
Just give me any Lopez.
I'm out on Brook. He's 35.
I don't want him in the role
he's a gigantic
in Milwaukee.
human.
I want him less minutes. I want him like 25.
So you're not starting him?
No.
Okay.
No.
We can have that conversation.
Yeah, no.
We can have that
because I'm with you.
Ramie, I think Ramie wants
Sabonis
to start him.
needs to be the 5.
I don't want to put words in Ramie's mouth. Maybe have this conversation with Ramie tomorrow on your show in the midday. I think Ramie would start Lopez. I'm not in on that.
I'm not there. No.
Naz Reid, yes.
Yeah.
I'd start Naz Reid at the 4.
I'd have to see it. I think two bigs, I think have to fit really perfectly in order for them to play, in my opinion, in today's NBA. I'm not a fan of just running out two towers anymore. I think it just messes up your spacing a lot more than it helps.
I think Naz Reid, I wouldn't call him a tower.
No, and like offensively, are you putting him in the corner? Like, yeah. I mean,
there's no reason he can't.
He's not a knockdown three. That's where I would prefer Brook, because Brook can stand in the corner. He's a 38% 3-point shooter.
Fair.
Naz is like
fair.
You know, he's more of a mid-range guy. And,
would he improve with volume?
Possibly. And that's the type of risk that I would love to take on Naz, because him being so young, like you mentioned, he's got room to grow. Brook,
So
you know what he's going to be.
I would I would ask you one more question about a big man from the text line, and that's Christian Wood.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's just
Christian Wood is like I'm trying to come up with the best analogy, but it's like Christian Wood. It's like if you bought a car and the car looks great.
Yeah.
But then you start driving it and you go, it's not running that well.
Right.
Like he phased himself out of Dallas.
Right.
He doesn't defend.
Right.
He'll block an occasional shot because he's long and you're like, oh, wow, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll knock threes down. Right. But he wants a lot of Christian Wood time.
Yeah.
Offensively. And defensively, he doesn't have the effort. He doesn't have the juice.
Yeah.
If he dedicated himself defensively and was able to bring a little bit more versatility offensively, because he's not really a post guy. He just loves to hover
likes
around.
To shoot, right.
Like
likes to take jump shots. Not a very physical guy.
Naz Reid over Christian Wood.
Christian Wood's a good scorer. He's also somebody who it's like, I feel like if you don't watch him play, you probably think he's a lot better than what he actually is.
Yeah. Like he's like a car that looks great on the lot.
Right.
And then you take it home and you're like, I just got lemon lawed.
Right.
What the hell's going
It's
on
like
here?
some fake Jordans or something. It's like, it looks nice. And then you put them on and it's like, oh, these are definitely not the real thing. Got a Jordan throwing up hang loose. And
all right, let's get to Scoop-de-Whoop brings up a name that I brought up with Ramie. Bobby Portis is a guy that Bobby Portis, that kind of player would absolutely love. Not necessarily starting.
Sure.
But Bobby Portis,
Guy who knows
toughness,
his role.
rebounding, can knock down shots, brings great energy, knows his role, like you said. That's a dude who you can easily give 20 to 25 minutes of feel good about.
Some versatility.
I would take
like
him.
you said.
I would take him over Christian Wood every day of the week and
I
twice
would
on
too.
Sunday.
Yep.
Not even close.
Every single day.
All right. Meanwhile, Monty Williams was fired over the weekend by the Suns. Here's Bill Ryder on that.
Yeah, Larry, my understanding of the conversations that I had the last few days and the text message I'm trying to get out and get back in the last few minutes is that's more, I think, of an excuse for a change that ownership wanted to make. Obviously, Matt Ishbia took this team over not that long ago. We saw Isaiah Thomas, the Hall of Famer, sitting next to him at some of those games. As I understand it from sources, Isaiah Thomas will be heavily involved in one way or another in directing this organization. And we know in any business, our business, sports business, the NBA, anything, when there's a change of ownership, when there's a change of bosses, when there's a change of leadership, they often want their own people and to bring in their own folks. And I think Monty Williams is just the victim of that reality and those losses, and that playoff loss gave this front office and this new ownership group, I think, the excuse and the opportunity to make the change they probably wanted to make all along.
Now, I know everybody, if you're like Chris and I, you might have thrown up in your mouth when you heard Isaiah Thomas. But I will say this.
Business decision.
John Gambadoro, who works for our parent company, Bonneville, right? He works for our company. Really, really well tapped in to the Suns. Has incredible, I'd say nearly impeccable sources. Tweeted out today that's not happening. That Isaiah Thomas is not a thing.
That's good.
So
it's good to hear. If you're
good for Suns fans, I think.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Chris, look, I think Monty's, somewhat of a scapegoat here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This stinks for Monty Williams. And I say that because you KD parachuted into the year. Then he doesn't play for you for a stretch. And then you're supposed to just throw this thing together in the playoffs. And I know, look, I picked Phoenix to get to the finals.
Same.
I was an idiot. My bad. I was wrong. I thought they'd be able to transition the team with KD and things. It didn't work out. It didn't work out as well as they hoped it would. I also didn't see CP3 getting injured, which maybe I should have, and DeAndre Ayton getting injured as well. Like, you're dealing with injuries. You're dealing with KD who parachuted in, Devin Booker played 2 unbelievable games in the series, and then the rest of the series wasn't as good.
Right.
No showed the media after the game. No showed the media during the exit interviews the next day.
Crazy.
Pulling a Dylan Brooks.
Yep.
But, like, to me, this is one of those you can't fire the team deals.
Sure.
So you fire the head coach.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, this is not fair to Monty. And I know that the Suns lost. This is now their second straight game or elimination game where they were down by 30 at halftime. You can't have that. I mean, you can't. But to blame this on Monty Williams when there's so many other factors, you list all the factors there. The fact they didn't have a bench because they went in for KD, to me, this is all just screaming new owner not really understanding or wanting to swing for the fences already and not understanding that these things take time. Like Matt Ishbia has came in and just completely gone all in on this Phoenix Suns team.
I mean, guy wanted to fight Jokic. I mean,
right, exactly. He's willing to hold the ball and fight a 7-3 monster in order for his team to
that would have been so funny if Jokic just like put his hand on the head
and just
of
pushed him down.
And just pushed him down.
Yeah, like the Chappelle in the club.
Yes.
Stiff arm.
Just
yeah.
All right, let's give away some tickets.
Let's do it.
I promised this to all of you, so let's do it now. Sebastian Maniscalco's coming to town. Technically, it's actually coming to Wheatland. Not really.
Not really.
Town. Not Midtown or anything. But Sebastian Maniscalco will be here. Live Nation, got your plug to check out Sebastian Maniscalco at Hard Rock Live in Wheatland. Hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now. We're looking for lucky caller number. Pick a number, Chris.
3.
Lucky caller number 3 to that Folsom Lake Honda hotline. 1-800-920-1140. Again, 1-800-920-1140. Caller number 3 to that contest line wins a pair of tickets to see Sebastian Maniscalco. Hilarious guy. One of my favorite comedians. Hard Rock Live in Wheatland. And for more information, visit SactownSports.com. The latest on Sasha Vezenkov and Ja Morant coming up next.
Cattles
and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, AutoZone is here to help.
Get in the zone, Auto. What if I need a new one?
We have the right batteries right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, Auto. And what if I don't know how to connect it?
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Nick Cattles from Cattles and Ramie, and I'm reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Start your grilling season right with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill, it's turning me into a pro. Napoleon grills, they have features that other grills just can't match. They're built different, built better, and they're built to last. I'm telling you, I might never want to cook indoors again. Just go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the best time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooh.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Get top deals on everything you need to freshen up your yard, like the Cobalt 24-volt string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit, only at Lowe's. Was $199, now just $149. Plus, get your lawn in shape with up to $15 off select Scott's Easy Seed Lawn Repair Mixes. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Scott's offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Growing a business brings pressure. It's not easy to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. Their scalable HR solutions help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving my employees competitive benefit options. When my people are able to thrive, my business can adapt and prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as the issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics look to host the Heat Wednesday evening. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. We got the top spot coming at you right now on Cattles, Ramie, and Chris Watkins.
Did you miss the headline and the top story of the day?
Extra, we know about it.
Don't worry, because we got you covered.
This is how we do.
It's the Cattles and Ramie.
Top spot.
All right. Top spot, fourth and final hour of the program. Cattles and Ramie, no Ramie. Chris Watkins in for Ramie as Ramzilla returns from Vegas with his lady friend, Emily. Hopefully they had a fantastic time.
All right.
Ramie will be back tomorrow in the midday, though. He's not coming back to this show tomorrow. He'll be back on this show Wednesday. He'll be with Chris tomorrow.
Yeah.
So all sorts of things happening, all sorts of things shuffling.
Working on that Simone 10-day contract.
Are you?
Yeah.
Keep working on it.
Well,
watch out.
She's got some high demands.
Watch for
I love flowers, man. What can I say?
Yeah, watch for what you wish for.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
That's what I keep hearing.
You know, I fought for Simone to be with us on the air, on the programming side.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I regret that, but I'm getting closer to regretting that every day.
Yeah.
I want to be with you everywhere.
See, that's fine. That part's fine. It's more of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's gonna lose it.
Off the court.
She's
issues.
very needy.
Yeah.
She
Off
is.
the court issues. I'm over here trying to help our show right now, and all I hear is blah 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 blah. What is going on here?
She asked for flowers from people. She asked for coffee from people.
I did hear about the coffee thing.
She calls herself the mayor of Doko.
That was a title given to me.
She always
Thank
has
you so
excuses.
much.
Are you listening to this?
Yes,
Always has excuses.
Well,
And then Dave's
Simone
like,
deserves it.
and then the morning show is upset because we stole Simone from them.
I say again, I am a person and not
No,
a base.
And even though I'm a person, not a base. The reality is, behind the scenes, I was working on getting Simone to join us before she even got on the air.
Yeah.
Jay Mars snuck in and threw her on Friday mornings every once in a while. So I could say that Jay Mars tried to steal her from us.
That's true.
That's the reality.
Hot commodity.
Well, she signed. I told you.
There's a big recruiting pitch, and
we signed her. She's going nowhere. Unless the new boss tells us she's going somewhere.
And then she gotta go.
I don't make those decisions anymore. All right, top
Middays are wide
stories.
open.
2 top stories. Simone is more than company. Okay. You're going to have to move the company.
Yeah.
It'll be Simone and
show.
Watkins.
Yeah.
Simone and this other guy.
Yeah.
Simone and the dude.
And the guy.
Simone and the dude in the middays. All right, let's
It's a good
get
radio
to
name. It's like an old school, early 2000s.
Simone and the guy in the afternoon.
Some dude.
Simone and some dude.
Ew, I don't like it. I don't like it. Redact.
Mark. Brian Gephardt, don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Just putting it's a suggestion box.
Yeah.
You know, that's all
We
it is.
should get a suggestion box.
No, we shouldn't.
As a former boss, you got to love that idea, right? A suggestion box.
Worst idea I've
that
ever
goes over
heard.
great, right? Always.
No. Joe Giroux's wild card. She's joining digital.
From left field.
No, I hate
Let's do
WordPress
it.
too much. Can't do it.
Joe just waits in the bushes.
I know.
And then
Until
he
the
attacks.
perfect moment to strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just waiting.
It's like a rattlesnake.
He's just
You know?
waiting.
Yeah.
And then he snips right at you.
Yeah. Right at the perfect time.
Anyway.
Simone, can't wait for the decision.
What do you mean by
choosing between them?
Yo, that is an all-time. I think about that interview all of the time. I am waiting for Tim Bontemps to come right back on this program and apologize.
Admit that he was wrong?
There's a 0% chance it's
0%
ever happening. It's a
That was-
massive expiring contract.
That was an interview where, like, after it was over, JJ walked. JJ had the time of his life.
Yes.
Because apparently,
I can only
JJ
imagine.
had some buddies like blowing up his phone.
I can
Like
only
they
imagine.
were listening, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Is Nick gonna fight Tim
Yes.
Bontemps?" I was like, "Nah, man. He's
He
wrong."
was hostile. He was bringing the smoke.
Yeah.
It was not you.
Well, he tried.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he tried.
And the record
It
stands.
was reckless. You're right. It was.
I mean, I rest my case.
That was definitely just like he was having a bad day.
Judge.
Clearly.
I rest my case. I
'Cause-
ended up being right. He ended up being wrong.
The fact that he was fighting on the side of Russell Westbrook, like you had to have been. He was just in a mood, and he was trying to be right.
I mean, look, scoreboard certainly reads one
Right,
zip
right,
cows in that.
absolutely.
There's no
Actually,
lead.
two, because you had him on the LeBron thing too.
Oh, two zip.
Who's
Who's counting?
Who's
I mean, like-
keeping score? You know,
mean-
like when you're winning, like they all mush together.
All right, let's get to Sasha Vezenkov, because over the weekend, Mark Stein, NBA insider, reported that Vezenkov to the Kings is trending toward inevitable. So it looks like Vezenkov will be a Sacramento King in short order at some point. I think I put on the record a couple weeks ago that Vezenkov would be a King before the draft. I think I did.
When is the draft? I have no idea when the lottery is. Now
No.
you're going to shock me and say the draft is next week?
It's great when you forget where the draft is, because you won 48 games and made the playoffs.
Exactly. It's weird.
It is
Really
late.
weird.
It's like late June. It's June 22nd or something.
Oh,
so.
okay.
So Vezenkov, how do you feel about it, Chris?
I'm glad that he's coming over. That's step one, because last year it didn't make sense for him to come over. He was questioning about if he had the fit, what role he would play, if the Kings would even be good.
Yeah.
Glad that we're at least in a position where it's a desirable location. Like
Right.
somebody would want to come. It would make sense for him to
It's a
fill
good
the role.
point.
It's a good spot to be in. A lot better. It's a direct reflection of where they were at last season versus where they are at right now. It's a lot better, and I'm glad to hear that it seems like Sasha is also starting to come around on the idea of coming over here. I think it'll be positive for the Kings. You could always use more shooters. He has size. Whether or not he can utilize that size is still to be seen. I think it's a positive addition for the team. you said it earlier. To me, it's a luxury piece. Don't necessarily know if it's something that the team needs to improve on to fill some of their gaps. But he's a player. He is a basketball player.
Is he a starter?
Sure. I'm gonna go no. And if
feels like
he is
bench,
starting
25 minutes,
yeah,
25 minutes.
I think it's an issue if he's starting next year. I think if he just plays so incredibly over the summer and all we hear is good reports on Sasha Vezenkov is shocking teammates and coaches left and right. Maybe I'm willing to hear it because there's some lead up to it. But where we're standing at right now, I'd be shocked. I think I would stamp it down as shocked if Sasha Vezenkov is starting week 1.
Give me your realistic best starting 5 out of this offseason.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy. You like that?
Well, it's got to be it's going to be Fox and Sabonis. We'll start there.
Yep.
Keegan Murray will be sprinkled in there. He's not going anywhere. I don't think the Kings make that big move
at
right
the
now.
3 or the 4.
Another big sigh. Let's say the 3. I think if Keegan's peak for his career, I think he's got to figure out how to be a 3. I think that's what the best Keegan Murray could be. Let's say at the 3.
Okay.
I like Jeremy Grant at the 4. I think that's probably the best realistic option for them to go to. When
so we can put this on the record.
Yeah.
My big swing was Jeremy Grant last week.
Yeah.
Chris Watkins approves.
Yes, I approve.
Okay.
I approve. I don't. Yeah.
Ramie wants Kyrie.
I don't. Okay. You said I have to do a show with him tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Start there.
Yeah.
Start there and see where it goes.
We'll start there. Oh, boy. Yeah. I don't know if Sasha's going to be in the starting lineup, but there's hope at least that he can be a heavy contributor.
So you'd go Fox, Herter, Keegan, Jeremy Grant, Domas. I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, my big swing was Jeremy Grant, so
Right.
I'd be all for that.
Yeah.
If not Jeremy Grant, Cam Johnson, please, maybe.
Sure. Right.
Could do that.
Yep. I'll take that. I'm with you. I don't think OG Anunoby's even possible. I don't think I think it's possible.
You need picks.
I don't think that's it. Like that's not a needle moving move either. Right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
OG Anunoby isn't making
he's not a great
finals.
shooter. Slasher. He can knock down occasional shot, but he's not like a prolific shooter.
If you could just add him for sure, but the fact that you have to get rid of
you've got to
things,
give stuff.
Yeah, it's not going to make you a better team in the long run.
And you don't have picks. Again, people, you don't have the picks to trade.
Yep.
Toronto's not trading OG Anunoby unless they're getting 2 or 3 first-round picks at least for him. So, and you don't have those. You literally don't have those picks to trade.
Right. Kings first-round picks are not nearly as valuable as they once were either.
What I would like to do is just rule out all of the ridiculous.
Yes. There's a lot. There's a lot of ridiculous.
Those ridiculous suggestions.
Yes.
And it's not because we don't like those players. It's just as you've been saying, you've got to give up something to get something, and you don't have that something to give to get.
Right.
It's just that you just don't have it. Like the Jaylen Brown thing's never happening.
I love the idea of it, but unless you
I don't think he's going anywhere to begin with, but you don't have if the Celtics ever traded Jaylen Brown, you're talking 4 or 5 first-round picks.
Yes.
Most of them unprotected. You're talking about a young up-and-coming star like a Keegan Murray.
Yep. Davion probably.
And another piece or two. That's what you're talking
like actual pieces.
Yeah,
because they're not trying to rebuild.
Look at the Rudy Gobert trade and multiply that by many.
Right.
That's what the Celtics would be looking for.
Right.
OG's underneath that, but you're still looking at 2-3 first-round picks.
Yep.
Davion.
Yep.
Probably they'd want Keegan.
I think Keegan.
Yeah.
I just don't see how it happens.
So that kind of stuff's not gonna happen.
No.
So Vezenkov, though, if you bring him in and he gives you 20-25 minutes off the bench, I'm fine with it. I'm good with it.
I'm cool. Yep.
If he is your Trey Lyles next year, I'm fine.
I'm cool with it.
Because I think he's an upgrade over Lyles.
I think he can be.
I
think
hope
he can be. Right.
Yeah. Right. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee this first year.
I think they do different things, which is also interesting.
Yeah. So there's the Vezenkov news, and we also had Ja Morant. Look, don't need to dive too deep into this one, but Ja Morant in trouble again, brandishing a gun on Instagram, driving with his buddy, and it's just I'm concerned that his self-destructive behavior is going to get the best of him. He needs to make changes, and he needs to make those changes sooner rather than later.
Right.
he's taking what could be a special NBA career, and he's toying with throwing that in the garbage.
Yeah, 100%.
The NBA is going to suspend him for 40, 50 games.
Right.
30 games, 30, 40. Like, what? I'd be fine with a 50-game suspension, honestly. I'd be okay with it.
And again, like, I keep thinking about his future bag. That's honestly, I mean, he's not going to get the endorsements. He's not going to be pushed by the NBA as much. Parents in general are going to, I saw Michael Wilbon say, like, he's not letting his kids buy Ja Morant shoes. Like, I think that's.
How long is Nike going to stand by?
I think that's a real
him?
thing. Like, and just as a person, I'd like to see Ja just be better. Like, be a better example.
Yeah.
Like, why? We can go into a ton about the Ja stuff. I just don't understand it. Like, man, like, you're a basketball player. Like,
it's self-destructive
I don't understand
behavior.
what you're trying to perpetuate.
I don't think he understands it.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think that's part of the issue with the therapy or the rehab is like you go there to figure it out.
He went to a clinic for a couple of days.
It takes a long time to really look inside yourself and figure out why you are, and why you do the things that you do, especially at that young, impressionable age.
People have had intensive, like, psychiatric therapy for years, decades, and they still haven't figured all the things out. But he went for like 7 days or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Your thoughts on Vezenkov, your thoughts on Ja. 916-339-1140 is the text line. The phone number is 1-800-920-1140. You can give us a like. YouTube, we're 7 likes away from our 50 goal. YouTube.com, Sactown Sports 1140. We'll get to your reaction also in 90 seconds. Is one of the NBA's most heralded GMs actually overrated?
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Are you ready to hear this on Sactown?
Yeah, nobody wants to hear this, but Chris and I were just talking. But for my money, most tense game that you can have in sports is a Game 7 in the NHL. That is like the speed of the game, the physicality of the game. It is just, it's heart-pounding stuff.
Yeah.
It really is. You have no time to, like, register anything. You just watch it.
Yeah, I don't watch enough hockey to get a good feel of it or have a good take on it, but it does feel like, especially just in playoffs in general, there's an atmosphere that happens in hockey that's just different than any other sport.
Off the pipe.
Between the wickets. Baseball Game 7s, though, some of those are, you want to talk about drama and just building it up, some of those hit. Some of those hit more than...
Look, all Game 7s are great.
Right.
But
some Game 7s.
And hockey's not my favorite sport, but I will say the Game 7 situation is my favorite Game 7 scenario. The intensity is just... Before we get to a GM that has been much heralded, and I wonder out loud if that GM happens to be overrated. I want to get Chris's thoughts on that. First, let's go to Buddha. Buddha wants to talk about free agency. What's up, Buddha?
What's up, family? How you guys doing today,
Good, right?
Hey, I'm doing great too, man. I wanted to call in and talk about Nas. Yeah, I feel like you're on the right page right now because Nas, he like a big that can handle. He's super athletic. He can shoot decently. He can rebound. He can play the 4 and the 5. Like he can do the high and low with Sabonis. Like he can go off screen. So I feel like y'all definitely in the right direction with that. But I feel like we need to go a step farther now. And because the Wolves, they got a guy named Jaden McDaniels that played with alongside Nas Reed, and he looked real good with him. And he got a brother, right? And his name Jalen McDaniels. And like basically they the same body type and everything. And basically the numbers that they put up is almost the same in the same amount of time. So I feel like he will be a really good look.
Mm-hmm.
And he played with the Sixers, and the Sixers didn't really give him a tick. And I feel like we can get him for the low because if we pay Nas Reed, I feel like we'll have a little extra money to pay like a player like Jaden McDaniels. What you guys think?
Buddha, thanks. Appreciate the phone call, my man. Yeah, I'd be good with either McDaniel.
Right. Yeah. They're kind of like the same exact mold as what you would think from Jared Vanderbilt, where it's like you're looking for that lengthy, long 6'8", 6'9" defender who can, play the 3, mainly play the 4 and not give up too much defensively.
Jalen's cheap. I just looked it up. Jalen's, he's got a club option, which was exercised by the Sixers. So you'd have to trade for him. No, actually, I'm sorry. He's actually UFA. His club option was picked up for 22-23. So he was making like $2 million this past year.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would cost you more than maybe $5 million. I wouldn't mind it at all, Buddha.
That's easy. See, like those are the kind of things, in my opinion, the Kings need to stack. Kind of like you were pointing at, Nick. Like they need 3 or 4 of these big wing guys that they
like a better Kessler Edwards,
exactly.
a more ready Kessler Edwards.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that is exactly
that's what I wanted at the trade deadline.
Yes.
I was disappointed.
Right.
They tried to get Vanderbilt reportedly.
Right.
So
and we saw that would that was mixed
I would
results.
have loved Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I would have loved them.
I think he would have helped
you.
Needs right.
Yes,
just something they don't have.
He would have absolutely helped you. All right, let's get to Bob Myers. So Bob Myers, GM of the Warriors, his future is a big fat unknown.
Yep.
He's working without a contract. Here was Adrian Wojnarowski talking about Myers' future on ESPN.
With his contract expiring at the end of June, Bob Myers told me last night that he plans to take a couple of weeks to make a decision about his future running the Golden State Warriors. And it's a decision that he said he is torn about, I think in large part because of his relationships, he said, with the core 3 of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, and his coach, Steve Kerr. 4 championships under Bob Myers, and an organization where he just carries a tremendous amount of weight, respect. You heard all the key players, their coach, talk about how badly they want Bob Myers back. He's not there yet on a decision. He has built a Hall of Fame resume in Golden State. And I think very much the future of this organization, a lot of it revolves around his ability to kind of shepherd them through the next phase of it. But right now, Bob Myers is uncertain whether he'll do another contract with the Warriors.
Ramona Shelburne wrote about the Warriors and what their future is going to look like here in this offseason. She had a source that said about Myers possibly not returning, quote, "That's the one thing that could bleep this all up," unquote. During the season, sources say Warriors owner Joe Lacob presented multiple contract extension offers that would make Myers one of the league's highest paid executives, even offering him an option to take time off if he preferred. But Myers, sources say, genuinely doesn't know what he wants to do. Talks have been tabled for some time. Is Myers overrated?
I'm going to say no. I think it's not an easy job to put championship level player, to build the teams that he had to build around the guys, because something that's become very evident, especially now with this Warriors team, is how important those other guys were, how important it was to get contributions from Mo Spates, Sean Livingston. Those kind of guys were so David Lee gave them something at one point in the playoffs.
David Lee.
Those kind of guys, like even last year, they didn't. The thing that won it last year was guys like Otto Porter, Nemanja Bjelica, Jordan Poole being able to step up in roles. Those were always the kind of guys that were really the secret sauce on top of Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry. Those were the secret sauce behind them winning. They still needed the depth, as you see in this playoffs. Like, you can't just win with star power. So I think being able to manage those egos and still add knowing what the team needed at all the right stops, I don't think he's overrated. He's probably properly rated, I would say.
I would agree with you. I don't think he's overrated. When you look at the track record, look, he didn't draft Steph. He didn't draft Clay. Right. So that's a big help. He was there to draft Draymond. Yeah. So you can give him credit for that one. The good, look, it's hit and misses, just like every GM.
Right.
Every GM's going to have hits. Every GM's going to have misses. When you look at the hits, Steve Kerr hire was fantastic, right?
Absolutely.
Worked.
Right time, right guy.
The Andrew Wiggins trade was gigantic.
Yeah.
And some people thought they'd lose out on that one. That was a good deal.
Yeah, maintaining the Kevin Durant asset, pushing it to D'Lo, pushing it to Wiggins.
And you mentioned all the additions, the other guys that he brought in that really supplemented the core. Has done a fantastic job of that. You also mentioned handling egos. I think he's done a great job with that. But he's had some misses. Look, we'll look back at the James Wiseman pick and go, oof.
Terrible. Right.
Just that James Wiseman pick,
right,
could have transitioned you into a new era. You swung and missed. Moody, he played some minutes in the postseason, but he's not the guy you were hoping he would be.
Would have rather had Franz Wagner instead of Kuminga, too.
Kuminga's, complaining about his role and reportedly wants out if he's not going to be a starter. Right. So, I mean, at the time you were like, man, this is perfect because you have the aging core of this dynasty, but then you have Wiseman and Moody and Kuminga, and if they hit on those picks, watch out.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite happen.
Not quite.
You're also on the books for a lot of money.
A lot of money.
So,
a lot of money.
More money, more money, more money.
And then more money.
But I think he's good. You could say he's pretty damn good at what he does.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's really having Bob Myers' greatest GM ever conversations, but he's like Jerry Krause. I'm sure he'll get his respect, he'll get his credit, but there will be buts.
Was yesterday the waking up moment for one NBA superstar? That's coming up next.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear through the night tonight, a pretty warm night. Our overnight lows will drop down into the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, warmer than today. Look for highs in the low to mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Rev your engines for Fast X, the IMAX experience, playing this week.
I am the man who's going to break your family. Piece by piece. You will never be able to break my family.
The Fast X family is back on the largest screen in Sacramento. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento for reserved seating. Plus, join the free IMAX Directors Club to receive special member pricing on tickets and concession purchases each time you visit the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here.
Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit. Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. It's Simone with your Sactown Sports headlines. Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after the star guard appeared to be holding a gun in an Instagram Live over the weekend. The suspension is pending league review with speculation that a severe penalty is imminent, as the issue comes nearly 2 months after the NBA suspended Morant over a similar incident. Otherwise, in the association, the NBA playoff fray continued throughout the weekend. Heat able to sizzle in Game 6 on Friday, extinguishing the Knicks 96-92, and heading back to the NBA's Final Four for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Lakers also handled their business in the West, eliminating the defending champions on Friday, 122-101. They square up with the Nuggets tomorrow at 5:30. And on Mother's Day, no less, the Celtics certainly got their flowers as they decimated the 76ers 112-88 with a historic performance from Jayson Tatum, who broke the Game 7 record of 50 points Steph Curry only set 2 weeks ago. Celtics look to host the Heat Wednesday evening. I'm Simone. Those are your Sactown Sports headlines. JJ, please hit that callback.
With you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive. Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports.
All right. By the way, I was thinking about this over the weekend. If the Kings made it to the Western Conference Finals, this show would have been getting off during the week at like 4:30.
Oh, that would have been pretty nice. That would have been a nice.
Actually, 4.
I would have been dead. I would not have. Would not still be around. I would have been worked into the ground. I have thought about that. Like I'm, not to selfishly think about myself instead of the Kings playoffs, but I was definitely like, yeah, it would have been fun if they were still in it. But don't know
I'm tired as hell.
Yeah, don't know how much juice I would have had. Don't know how much juice I would have had in week 4 of the playoffs here.
By the way, that's Chris Walk, and C-Dub is in for
What
Ramie
up?
today. Ramie returning from his Vegas vacation today. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully, I did not get any texts letting me know he got arrested over the weekend.
Have you heard from him?
No.
Okay.
Which is not really, a lot. I don't hear from him during the weekends.
Sure, right.
A lot.
Yeah.
That group chat. We got a group chat that goes on.
I just want to make sure he's intact.
Yeah. Well, for your sake, because he's joining you
That's what
tomorrow
I'm
in the
saying.
midday. Again, not to be selfish, but
Yeah.
you need to know your co-host is there.
Just send him the rundown.
And so tomorrow, Chris will be with Ramie in the midday. And the plan is me and JJ in the afternoon, which led to Simone earlier in the show saying, but what about me? She honestly said
Everyone's
that
wondering.
out loud into the
Everyone is
microphone.
wondering it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simone will be on the show tomorrow with us.
I will be.
She
right
will-
behind the glass.
She will be producing. So if anybody has ever seen Simone behind the board, and this has happened, there's been a couple of moments where Simone has taken over for JJ so JJ can work on something different.
Right.
And people have noticed that Simone's intensity tends to ramp up a little bit when she's producing.
Super serious time.
Her
Super
focus
serious
is
time.
like
There's no smiling.
Not as light. No laughs.
No.
Not all about
She is-
Simone all of a sudden.
She is frightened by hitting the wrong button.
Oof, I feel that.
And the show
A
going off.
a lot of money up here on the board. So I try not to
mess
that up. Yeah.
No, I feel that.
Compromise
So
myself.
I would venture to guess that we don't have to worry about Simone having a coconut water day tomorrow. She will be in her house today early.
Yep.
Getting ready for the intensity of tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't even have like a show or anything to celebrate tonight. It's just strictly
Tonight,
business.
a Monday.
Isn't there reality TV on like every night?
Not my cup of tea.
Oh.
Big one's on Wednesday. Oh my God, clearing out the schedule for that one. Wow.
You're begging for me to ask you what.
I know. I was literally like, should I? And then I was like, Nick will probably not.
I'm not going to go
That's
to.
fine. That's fine.
All right, which one is it?
Can I guess?
I don't want
let me
any
guess.
detail.
Go ahead, guess.
Is this is it one of the 10,000 Real Housewives?
No, still in the Bravo cinematic universe.
Okay.
This is the
I'm trying
one.
to think how many I even know.
Bravo
This one was-
Cinematic Universe.
Like
Yeah.
it's freaking Marvel.
Yes.
Bravo.
This one is this one's been very popular. I'm sure you
Vanderpump
guys.
Rules.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now shut the mic
Okay,
off.
I'll shut it off. Bye.
She got what she wanted.
Yep.
She got precisely what she wanted. This is usually the callback, and we're going to call back to Jayson Tatum's performance yesterday. And I remind you that all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Jayson Tatum scored 51 points yesterday, Game 7. That is a record. NBA history. Of course, Steph held the record for about 2 weeks when he dropped 50,
we all
unfortunately, at the G1C. So now we can erase that from our memory, which is nice. You don't have to worry about that coming up all the time when you watch a Game 7.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, that was against.
At
that was
Sac.
against. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry about that. Here was JT in the post game yesterday.
I felt great, right? This is a back and forth series. Obviously, I didn't play well in the first half last game.
That's what I'm talking about. I always love
and
that.
I was just happy to get another opportunity to bounce back, right, and come back home. Game 7 on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially my mom. So I had to put on a special performance for her.
Now, we had a ridiculous text earlier saying how JT is not a good defender.
Yeah.
I would suggest that texter maybe not watch basketball for at least 6-7 months.
Sounds like he already does.
Reassess what you're doing here. But it wasn't just the scoring. It wasn't just the 51. It was the defense. It was the rebounding, 5 assists, hockey assists, 0 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, JT was clearly on one and Philly started to double him, and he pretty much made the right read every single time. And that's his biggest improvement is his decision-making and understanding where the double's coming from, what to do. There was one possession that I think just pretty much ended the game. That was when they doubled JT. He found Horford. Horford kicked it out to Jaylen Brown for a wide open 3 above the break. Jaylen knocks it down, and then Philly's like, what the hell are we going to do now?
Right.
So the reads. And speaking of reading the defense and figuring out what to do under certain circumstances, Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Celtics, talked about that yesterday.
I mean, that's the word, is he's learned how to problem solve. So he can recognize matchups, coverages. He can anticipate the next coverage. He can see the spacing. He can put guys where they are and make the right play. And so that, to me, is the evolution of players, is can they problem solve over and over again? And, he's done that.
He's a problem solver now. It reminds me of when Tom Brady said that, he feels much more confident going into games because he feels like he had taken every test and he kind of knew some of the answers, if not all of them. Look, what I'll say is this, Chris. Jayson Tatum is an interesting player because at his very best, like yesterday, you could argue he's top 2 or 3 in the league. But he just has not done that consistently in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's had big games. Last year, Game 6 in Milwaukee to force Game 7, he dropped 46 on Giannis and company. He's done it. I mean, he's had big games. Yesterday, big game, right? The late fourth quarter surge in Game 6 against Philly that forced the Game 7. He's had those moments, but he's also had some really weird playoff games where he hasn't been aggressive.
The entire final series last year was weird.
Yeah, he was just turning the ball over a ton.
Looked tired.
Unsure of himself.
Yeah.
So he's had those moments. And he's not going to score 50 every night, obviously. But if you have more of that dominant Jayson Tatum, I think he takes that step, and you seriously have to mention him in the top 2 or 3 in the league. If he can give that every night, if he gives that every night, the Celtics are the favorites. If he wavers and goes back and forth, the Celtics could lose against the Heat. They could lose this series. Eric Spoelstra's a terrific coach. They're going to defend they're going to throw a bunch of different guys at him. But if he plays that way with the attack mode,
right, and
he is shooting well, I mean, he's easily one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, my thing is like, this is a guy who's still 25, and you kind of said it there with the Brady thing. Like he's just learned. He's been through so many of these experiences now that it's only going to benefit him more moving, like in his career moving forward. Like traditionally, people don't, especially in the NBA, don't see real success until they're 6, 7, 8 years into the league.
Right.
And we're about to see Jayson Tatum reach that with having more experience than I think anyone we've seen in a very, very long time, just in terms of being in these games and getting those reps. And, again, I think these things take time. And sometimes, especially with a guy like Jayson Tatum, who's been in this role for so long with this team, we expect to see it right away. Like you have to go through these growing pains in order to come out on the other side as a butterfly. You gotta kind of learn and go through losses in order to eventually learn how to win. And I think we're just kind of seeing that now. And with what could be back-to-back finals appearances for these guys, I just think Jayson Tatum's really setting himself up to have an incredible career. Like we could see this be the start of like a guy who wins 2, 3, 4 championships here. Like what he's
deal with he always do.
Well, smoking to Joe Burrow.
It could be that kind of career. It's almost right away when you watch him. It's very similar to the team. The team follows him. The team is up and down at times. They have at least 2 games every series where it looks like they don't care, and they just lose those games. It's like whatever. Right. Honestly, they have like 2 of those every series. They had 2 of them against the Hawks. They had 2 of them against the 76ers. You go back to last year, they had 2 of them against the Bucks, 2 of them. That's what they do. It's like the 2 games. It's like, you know what? We just won't play tonight. We won't really care. And Tatum at times, like he has DeAnthony Melton on him early in the series, and it's like, dude, back him down, take him, and be aggressive, and he wouldn't. Yesterday, it was attack mode.
Yeah.
Maxey on him, Melton on him. He's like, oh, no, I'm taking you to the bucket. If he did that all series long, I don't think the series goes 7 games. So it's which Tatum shows up in which moments. And the thing is, again, I will say this about the Celtics the last 2 years. They do bleep around.
Yes, absolutely.
And they lose a couple games every series by bleeping around. But the only team that has beat the Celtics with their backs truly against the wall in the last 2 postseasons were the Warriors. Celtics in Game 6 against Milwaukee beat them. Went back Game 7, whooped them. Celtics were down. Were up 3-2, lost Game 6 inexplicably in Boston to Miami last year. Go down to Miami Game 7, beat Miami, and then this year. Again, must win Game 6 in Philly, must win yesterday.
Right.
They get the job done. The only team that's been able to beat them in those circumstances were the Warriors last year. So it's really weird, though, to watch a team that almost needs to be pushed towards that.
Yeah, and I don't want to make an excuse for Jayson Tatum, but it feels like I feel like no one gives him enough credit for doing this, essentially not by himself, but he doesn't have somebody to lean onto, right? Like there's nobody.
Well, he could with Jalen.
He could with Jalen, but he's not somebody who's been through this. He doesn't have somebody to say, like, LeBron is constantly pushing AD, like, you need to be great. Like, we need you.
Yeah.
And LeBron is a guy who's been through it. Jayson Tatum hasn't had any of that. He's had a young coach in Brad Stevens. Ime Udoka was a guy who had to ride them early in the season in order to get the kind of results that we saw late in the year. I think it's really impressive to me that he's doing all of this without he's having to learn it all himself. He's having to go through it all himself to learn. And none of it is, he's not being able to pick up any tricks for trade from, Kyrie, who stayed with him or anything like that. Like he's had to do it all by himself. And I just think he's not getting enough credit for having to do it and figuring it all out on the fly here.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Very fair point. All right, we'll wrap things up next.
Cattles and Ramie.
Sactown Sports. It was an amazing season for the Sacramento Kings. The Coach of the Year.
These honors don't come around often, and so you're very appreciative of them.
The Clutch Player of the Year.
Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
And a return to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years.
16 seasons of frustration. Sacramento has clinched the playoffs.
Keep it on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for all your Kings off-season news.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear through the night tonight. A pretty warm night. Our overnight lows will drop down into the mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, warmer than today. Look for highs in the low to mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and zero down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Hey, it's Nick Cattles from Cattles and Ramie, and I'm reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Start your grilling season right with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill, it's turning me into a pro. Napoleon grills, they have features that other grills just can't match. They're built different, built better, and they're built to last. I'm telling you, I might never want to cook indoors again. Just go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills, now is the best time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
During a Flex Alert, let's do the dishes after 9.
What about the laundry?
It can wait until tonight or even the morning.
The AC?
It's at 78. Let's cool the house in the morning.
All right, so we're just chilling until 9.
Pretty much. And we can help avoid a power outage.
Putting off chores for later and hanging out with my best friend. I love Flex.
Maybe you should just unplug the appliances downstairs.
Good idea. Better acoustics in the basement.
California, the power is ours with Flex Alerts. Flex Alerts, the power is ours.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Cattles and Ramie.
Cattles and Ramie. Cattles and Ramie.
Sacktown Sports.
Now let's get to a couple of Kings texts. 916-339-1140. C-Dub. Chris Watkins in for Ramie today.
Yes, sir.
Here's a text giving us their 3, 4, 5, their 10-man rotation.
Oh boy.
For next year.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's write this down. All right. Shoot.
Fox, Herter, Keegan, Naz Reid, and Domas.
Okay.
The bench would be Davion, Malik, Kessler Edwards, Sasha Vezenkov, and the number 24 pick.
Okay.
So let's put Sheway in there. I like Sheway.
Okay.
Should back up big.
Okay.
So you got.
Okay.
I would like one better wing over Kessler Edwards.
Yeah, that's yeah. When I'm looking at it here, Kessler Edwards is the guy that to me is the most obvious, and then I still looking at the Keegan Naz Sabonis front court. It's a good one. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much dribble handoff stuff can you continue to run. Will the Kings continue to run that after how it non-existent it was in the playoffs?
It's a big question. It's a big question.
You know, how different will the Kings look in general? If they're going to look the same that they did last year in terms of running the same offense, I don't love it, but I don't know. I think the Nas is a great player. I don't know how he fits next to Domas, you know, for
I think he's a really good
minutes
fit.
a game.
I think he's a fine fit. I think it fits really, really well. That's just me.
It could. No, I legitimately.
Another text about Kessler Edwards. So we got some Kessler Edwards people out there. Yeah. What about bringing Edwards back? A full year with the staff team might make a jump.
Yeah.
I think he'll be back. He has a $1.9 million club option. They'll pick that up. He'll be back. And look, can he improve? Yes. Can he make strides? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Could he become a 3-and-D wing guy that could play 10, 15 minutes? Sure.
Hopefully.
Would I bank on it? No.
Yeah.
And that's why I'd like to bring in a veteran who's proven 3-and-D guy. And if Kessler grows and he evolves and everything, great.
Right.
Fantastic. Right. Then you got a problem. You got two guys who can play 3-and-D wings, and I'm fine with that.
Great problem to have.
I got to give myself credit because I just kept pushing through when I saw Simone take a drink, and she has this giant drink water bottle thing.
Yep.
And it was just funny to me because she had like her hands around it, and it just kind of looked almost like Grogu's hands, like little hands around the.
Oh yeah, where is Grogu?
Yeah. So
Am I not worthy?
The problem is that I said I was going to take Grogu one day, and we have not seen Grogu since. Mom got overprotective.
Also, I thought Grogu was only out here for playoffs. We brought him out for May the 4th.
Okay.
Fair.
Special occasion.
Fair.
So.
Okay.
All right. So before we go, we have something very important to talk about. Tom Cruise shooting a shot. So he apparently, this is from the New York Post's page 6. After Tom Cruise and Shakira, big fan of Shakira.
Big fan.
Were photographed hanging out together at the Formula One Grand Prix in Miami over the weekend. A source exclusively told page 6 that Cruise is extremely interested in pursuing her. Aren't all single guys.
Down bad, bro. Come on.
Said the source, quote, "There is chemistry," unquote.
Whoa.
Cruise is 60. Shakira's 46, if you're wondering. And Shakira just left her longtime boyfriend, Gerard.
Gerard Piqué.
Yes.
Center back for Barcelona.
Okay. A little too much information there, but thanks.
And a cheater.
Yeah, amid allegations that he was having an affair with his now girlfriend.
Yeah, so, that's a mistake.
Seems like you could probably connect those dots.
Yes.
And the affair was happening.
Right.
That's a good point. But we might want to pump the brakes on Tom Cruise and Shakira because according to Us Weekly, Shakira found the rumors hilarious.
Oof.
That hurts.
Tough blow.
That hurts for
Tommy.
For Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I think that and like Tom Cruise, everybody figuring out that he's like 5'3".
Yeah.
Was tough.
Tough looks.
Too tough. And I say that as a short guy, but hey. I'm also not in Mission Impossible, right? So she found it hilarious, despite having a fun time with Tom.
Great.
She put him in the friend zone quick. We had a fun
So
time.
fast,
We had a fun time.
Great hang, but
She has no plans.
No.
She has no plans to take things further. The sources went on to explain that the singer is currently taking a dating break after her 11-year relationship came to an end.
probably a good move.
The insider continued, quote, "Tom was really nice and she enjoyed his company, but she isn't focused on dating him or anybody else at the moment. What would be really bad is if we found out Shakira's dating somebody in like a week."
Yes, exactly. She's like, it's you.
She's like, "No, at the time I wasn't ready. It's 7 days later. I woke up and I felt better about it." She has a lot on her plate, Chris, and is focused on her kids and career for now. Shakira and Tom Cruise.
Can't. No, I'm out. I'm out on that as a couple. That's I don't think it makes any sense to me. Shakira also 5'2", one of the humans who's probably actually shorter than Tom Cruise, which is probably what attracted him.
Yes, that's exactly my suspicion as well.
He felt like Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah. He was like, "Hey, shorty."
The way they're photographing this at the Grand Prix too, it's like, he's got the angle over her, and game over.
He's like, "I could take pictures with her everywhere we go and look really big."
And isn't Mission Impossible going to be coming out soon? He probably wants that publicity.
I'll just never get over him being on like Oprah and losing his mind and jumping up and down on the couch.
Well, I'm also seeing here that there's similar rumors that Shakira was possibly dating Lewis Hamilton, the F1 star.
Yes, Mercedes.
a lot more likely to when you have those kind of options between Lewis Hamilton or Tom Cruise.
You're a big Lewis Hamilton fan, huh?
I just don't think Tom Cruise stands a chance. My sister's a really big Lewis Hamilton.
Me too.
fan. Yeah, Simone, I think you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I think we all
He's
are.
talented.
Yeah,
And
there we are.
He's yeah.
We
What I
always-
understand,
we always-
great F1 winner.
We always land the plane somewhere around that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, Kanye might be dating somebody by the name of Bianca. I don't know who she is.
I don't know who she is.
I don't
either.
think Kanye knows who she is.
Simone
either,
was
to be
tripping on her
honest.
cell phone placement though in the leggings.
I think I saw the picture. Let me look it up because I'm pretty sure
It's
I saw the
upsetting.
picture that you guys are talking about.
Don't
And that
jam
is
it in
one
there.
of my pet peeves. Simone, maybe you can answer it better, but I don't
Sure.
understand. Like, you don't have. First off, get things with pockets. Girls seem to have this problem with their clothing.
Okay, but that is
just doesn't
you
have
know,
pockets.
We're not going to go there because that's the industry not creating.
We're also
pockets
not
for
going to
us.
go there because that song behind us means we have to go.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
So
Sounds good.
Not the Kanye one, but this one.
This one.
Don't understand Kanye's outfit in that picture either. It looks terrible. It looks like he's ready
wearing
for a roller
MMA.
derby. Yeah,
he's
got
wearing
like these-
MMA fight shin pads.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
Can't make
also
sense of anything.
very much out on Kanye.
All right. Thanks to JJ and
This was
Simone.
fun.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Enjoy to see
Killed
them.
it, Chris. Good job.
Chris
Charles.
will be back tomorrow in the midday. Charles Watkins with Ramie. Me and JJ.
Pray for me tomorrow.
Oh, we all
Please.
are, my man. Trust me. Just remember, you don't have to do it every day like I do. So
That's true.
you got one day to get through it. We're just kidding. We love Ramie. Till tomorrow, it's
Yeah.
Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sport.
Read some leather. Sure on the subject. You sure? You know we got your back like chiropractic. If that do you dirty, we'll wipe her out as in detergent. Now hurry, go on to the altar. I know you ain't but remember what I taught you. Keep your